Hello and welcome to another one podcast.
We have a Patreon. It's one of the best Patreons in the game.
By best, it's more of us.
Hundreds of hours of content. There's specials on there.
Three
specials. 2 live shows. It's one of the best Patreons around. You won't regret it. Sign up. £3 a month. That's all it fucking is.
I can't promise you it's one of the best or the most valuable, but if you enjoy us,
I think it is.
It's the only way to guarantee this carries on.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So
Genuinely.
It's up to you. Would you like this podcast to carry on? If the answer to that question is yes, then why not part with 75p a week by signing up to our Patreon?
Patreon.com/another one podcast. Sign up to it. You don't even have to enjoy the content that's on there.
You don't even have to watch it.
No.
Just
sign up.
75p a week,
yeah,
so that you get your public episode every week, guaranteed. Because if it drops below a certain level, it will stop.
75p a week.
The minute this costs us money again, it's gone.
Yeah, and it's
barely even.
So, please,
for the love of God,
yeah, please. Now it's beyond a joke. Now there's only one podcast that needs the money, and that's ours. We're absolutely brassic, and we've got the most outgoings, like dependents.
Another one.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 177, could be 76, who knows. I have another one podcast, me, Simon Wozniak, co-host Rob Thomas, and joining us today, first fighter on the pod, Stephen Swifty Smith.
Okay.
You alright with that one?
Yeah, good.
How's it going? You alright, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Happy to be on.
Did you do loads of these, or?
I've done a couple of them.
I watched you one with Billy Moore today.
Yeah, I've done a couple. I don't mind answering questions. It's more when you just gotta speak and you don't get told what to talk about. That's when I struggle.
Oh, I struggle with it as well.
Yeah.
It's just if there's any lulls or silences, just roll with it and just sit in it, you know what I mean?
I don't shut off. Don't worry about that.
We pretend it's part of it. We just like, a little minute to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You can just keep on rambling, can you?
A little bit, yeah.
All right, let's get you going then.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
What do you like rambling on about then?
If it's anything to do with boxing, I'm usually okay, but we'll see
right.
how the rest goes.
What do you do outside of anything outside of boxing? And you've retired now, haven't you?
I just do school runs all the time. It's not kids.
That it, yeah. When did you recognise him?
No. When did I recognise him? On the fair, you know. So I've got a joke that my dream was to be the fit dad in the school run. Yeah, and obviously he fucking failed. Like,
oh, so he's the guy,
big fat cunt. No, it's not just him.
Right.
So like the first day, I was like that, eyeing up all the dads, and I was like, oh, he's fucking fitted. And then he's the one. He's like, fuck, I'm fucking done here. I'm fuming.
Yeah, but you went, I'm bigger than him though.
Yeah. First day, I was like, I've got the height there. If I can get this slimmed down a bit.
Right.
And there's another one in reception who's tall as well. Though, looks a bit like him. He's like, for fuck's sake, I'm getting done here. I have to put some work in.
Right. Same year.
Our kids in the same year, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The other dad's a playground.
So did you recognise him straight away?
I recognised, I didn't know you boxer,
yeah,
but I recognised face, like I know that face. Yeah. So I just assumed, because this is another thing as well, when your kids first start school, they end up going to school with loads of parents you recognise but you don't really know, just from being around by there, aren't they? Like, I remember the first day, like, I won't say who, like, but I'm there going, my mate shagged her. One of the kids' mums sort of thing, like, and I'm like going there. I was there that night. And I'm like, that's a weird way to be like starting a relationship with someone. Be like, oh, our kids are gonna be mates, and the only thing I can think in my head is my mate shagged you on a Wednesday after a Champions League game, and like I made a joke about, like, it's fucking mad because there's loads of people there who've got this shared history with of just being in the same area, not like knowing each other, but just recognising them, like, from being in the Merton or the Surreys or somewhere on the Ale. It's fucking mad, like.
I didn't have. Well, I'm Formby as well, so I'm a wool. So, but I didn't have that. I've not got that at my school. I don't know anyone.
You were brought up in Ainsdale though as well, weren't you?
Yeah, but that's
so they're not going to be in your school, are they?
No, still Formby. But the fact that I think that's more a brutal thing,
more a working class thing.
Yeah. Because I think, because obviously I had the Liverpool coach at mine, did I? That I never realised until he left.
Oh yeah. So
like, and he was the fit one out of us one. So you Bootle as well?
My wife's from Bootle.
Right.
I grew up in Kirkdale, but
okay. Right.
I thought you were going somewhere with it.
Oh no.
Sound.
So any sorry, I said any hobbies outside of
Not now. Now I'm coaching, so it's just boxing all the time. I've basically retired, had a bit of a break from it, and then now I just coach. So I'm coaching all the time. So I literally drop the kids to school, go right to gym.
You're in Four Corners, aren't you?
Yeah, based in Four Corners now.
Yeah. That's where
good. Enjoy it,
Smith, Frankie.
That's Smith used to do a bit, and Milo trains there. When he's
Have you trained with Milo?
Don't think so.
No.
Troy Hawke, the fellow with the smoking jacket.
Oh yeah,
He does sessions there when he's in Liverpool.
It's always busy, and everyone. What I enjoyed about it when I first went there, everyone's like friendly and gets on with you. Like, it's not like you get them looks when you walk in the gym, who's this, and like you sort of just everyone lets you crack on and get on with your job, which is good, and it's friendly every day. Do you know what I mean? It's a good atmosphere, which I think that's after battle when you've got people going to the gym. You don't want to be going there and not liking the atmosphere. You've got to sort of enjoy what you're doing.
Well, I wouldn't. I've never. You've been in a boxing gym, haven't you?
I've been to Four Corners. Well, only not proper. I was in the fridge when I was in. You know, when I was younger in school, I went in the fridge for about 3 months. Yeah, and then was like, it's not for me. This
the fridge is
it's a Sefton ABC and and then it's just basically a wooden cabin.
Okay.
And back then I had no heating or nothing, so you just covered the fridge because it was full freezing. Like,
right.
I remember I went for about 3 months.
How old were you?
It must have been about, well, it was year 7 and 8. Yeah. So it was one of them.
Was this when you were fighting the guy all the time?
No, this was before that.
Oh, okay.
This was like my dad, just because my dad said to go boxing.
Right.
One of them things your dad makes you go sort of thing. Yeah, like, I'll go boxing.
Are you on, just before you carry on, are you on site with anyone? Like, he was on site in Holy Family with one lad. Then he had to go to private school. You've never been on site with anyone now? No. Just think that'd be interesting to know if there was.
A boxer's going to be
That's what I mean, I'd be like, imagine if it went on, he went, oh, fucking hell. Like, if he had beef from school and they were on site and then he goes on to be this fucking boxing champion, you're going, oh, shit.
No, yeah, so I went in the fridge a bit, and then, all I was the same, like, I'm just a show off, that's all I've been. Yeah. So I used to try and do the Nazim thing over the ropes, and they just call me a knobhead, and then some kid was 10. I remember, I must have been like 12, 13, some kid was 10, and you could see he was actually, fast hands and all that. Yeah. And you can see me, and I was like, this isn't for me. No. If there's a 10-year-old in here who's going to twat me one day and spar, and I'm not fucking being here.
I think you find, where it's the discipline side of it, you find a lot of times, like, people think boxing's all like hard cases and the hard case in school and that, but it's more often than not, it's kids who are sort of picked on in school get brought to a boxing gym. They throw them in a gym, and then they learn to just like look after themselves and that, and then you find like the playground bullies and stuff go in there and can't keep up with the kids, and the kids who are the bullying in school are out boxing them, and they're like, fuck this, and throw it to you. They probably don't like to.
Well, I imagine the bullies go in there because they just want to fill someone in, don't they?
And then all of a sudden they can't, because the discipline side of it and the skill set side of it, sometimes they're getting outboxed and they're getting, the bullies getting a better of the kids who get bullied is getting a better of them, and then they'll throw the toys at the pram.
But then would that not spill into the street though, and then
the
bully goes, I'm gonna wait till he leaves, then I'm gonna nail him.
Yeah, but more often than not, that's where the kid who's been to it at the gym realises, no, what, I can stand up to him, I'm not back, and then they get out of the being bullied. Then that's where a lot of them.
Do you ever get a bully who's good?
Yeah, you do.
You're like, oh shit.
Don't get me wrong, you get some who just love it. You get in the gym and they're like, wow, they're animals. You do get that, obviously, but a lot of them, they're not.
See, that's why I'd love to do some sort of fighting thing we spoke about on this podcast for ages.
He's obsessed with the idea of fighting.
I'm obsessed with it.
He's never been hit. Yeah. And he's never hit anyone.
Yeah.
And so, like, if anyone comes in who's even trained, he's like, what's it like?
I used to think when I was, like, younger that if I punched anyone with full punch, I'd kill them. Because I'd never hit any. I thought, God, that'd hurt someone. But now the older I've got, I've thought I could swing from the back here and it wouldn't knock. I see some people's faces. Like, your face looks like it could be wobbled a little bit, but like you see some of these heavyweights that have got like a blockhead, and you're thinking, I could actually do that, and I reckon you just go, yeah, and I go like, oh my God. So I'm obsessed, but I'm also obsessed with the fact of like, just the how scary it must be.
Yeah, do you know what?
But that's why it's a different breed, because people say when we do comedy, it's like, oh, that must be, you've got to be
that.
See that? Like, that's what I mean. It's different like things you're comfortable with. I've said, when I retired, I said to my wife, look, I'm going to have a break. And she was like, okay. And a year just went by. And I was like, didn't do nothing. I said, I need a year, I'm going to have a break away. So I'd done a year, done nothing. and it went like that, and I was a bit like, I'm not ready. I'm gonna have to have another year. And she was like, come on, because you finish boxing with like, you know, a bit of money, whatever, and I'm all right, but then you just live month by month, mate. And she's looking at me like, you know what I mean? What's going on here? So I was like, yeah. I said, no, I don't want to. So what are you going to do? Like, what's after boxing for you? Because I wasn't ready to retire. I'd sort of won my last few fights. I was ready to have another shot at the world title, and then COVID happened. So I was a bit like, I'm the wrong side of 30 to be having a year out of the ring. And I just made my decision to retire. And
you know, when you're thinking about retiring, is there anyone there like promotes anyone there with a thing that says, right, here's what you need to do? Like,
no.
Like, here's the next step sort of thing. No one's trying to see the way footballers sort of get pushed into pundits. You know,
PFA, and I've got a really good setup where they look after players, and they have like every signing and stuff and things that happen. The percentage goes to the PFA, and they look after people after football and have things in place for them. We're in the middle of trying to set up like a boxing organisation.
I saw you and your brother started.
Yeah, we're trying to do that just for people for life after boxing, because it's tough. It's a massive void in your life. You've spent your whole life going to the gym every day and, you know, watching your weight, looking forward to your next fight. There's always that fight in the pipeline where obviously when you fight you get paid as well, so that your income, and then all of a sudden it stops and it's just nothing. So you're like, well, I'm not going to the gym for nothing, and I'm not staying out of the fridge either. You know what I mean? Everyone's just starting.
The demons come for you, then, I imagine.
And they all put weight on. They all get in a bad like rut. They all start getting depressed. They all start hitting the ale, and
Ricky Hatton used to.
It's a prime example. Ricky's a good example, because Ricky was one of them where Ricky's a fan favourite. Ricky like brought thousands to Vegas. Ricky's done what no one ever done before him, and he was one of the lads. He'd be on the ale after the fight with them all and that, and then it just stopped for him, and he just spiraled bad. He was in the public eye as well, which was sad, because again, like my elder brother Paul, turned professional in Ricky's gym, so we were in the gym all the time. I used to go up and he'd spar with like Paul, I'd spar with like Michael Gomez in the gym and that, and he stood training alongside him, was an unbelievable like inspiration for you to look up to in terms of boxing. But then when you see, it was sad to see where he went to, and it's good to see him now back happy and getting his life back on track. But it was hard to see that in terms of in the public eye. But
I think that just comes from not having a purpose sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that it's just avoiding your life where you spend your life as like, again, using Ricky as an example, is Ricky Hatton, the boxer, the champion, and all of a sudden he retires and he's nothing in his own mind. Know what I mean? He's just the fella.
Well, it ended. I think once he lost to Floyd Mayweather, that's when it was like, because he was like, oh, this is gonna. I remember the Hatton Floyd. That was like one of the biggest ones I've seen. I was like, oh, this is like
build was unbelievable. The one over there, the one over there. He was doing press conferences, flying on planes, and then Ricky was funny. He was cracking jokes. I feel like I've been on my fucking 10-year-old son all week and that, and Mayweather was dancing around and that.
I was just when you saw like, because everyone was going, Floyd's gonna win, and then we were just thinking, no, he's gonna go over, and then he didn't, and then I think after that, I reckon that, not to speak on his behalf, but I reckon that was kind of, well, no one's that arse with him anymore.
Yeah, it was one of them when you're winning. Everyone loves you when you're winning. It's a true saying, and sort of you lose, you sort of realise your phone doesn't ring no more. Do you know what I mean? It is like that a little bit, and again, like look, the level Ricky was at, it's unbelievable. And apart from that last loss, what he had, like the comeback one with the Sinchenko one, he lost to Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, like two of the best of our generation. Do you know what I mean? There's no shame
when you look back at it now
whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? You can lose. Like myself, I only ever lost to world champions, and I can live with it. I can put my head in my pillow and know I've done well enough and everything like that. But he literally lost again. Apart from that, he tried to have a comeback and he lost the fight. He only lost to Mayweather and Pacquiao, were like two of the best 5-weight world champion and 8-weight world champion or something. Do you know what I mean? Like unbelievable fighters. So there's no shame whatsoever. But still, he struggled with life after boxing, where he didn't know where to turn to, and it was probably the void was massive for him. But he tried to fill that void with other things. With
also, he's probably got more money than most who retire. Do you know what I mean? So he's sitting there with money, thinking, "I'll have a party time." Rather than someone might be going after 3 months, you're going, "Hang on, this is chipping away into everything I've got."
Yeah, seen that as well. Seen some great fighters, and they're like, you know, they're trying to like make ends meet now, where you put your life into sport and you constantly go in the gym, you know, as well as look the elephant in the room, you're getting punched in the head every day. Do you know what I mean? So it's not good for your health. And then your career finishes, and then you're like, shit, I need to work. I need to start getting an income again. So it's like, what can you do? What's your experience? Nothing. I haven't worked for 20 years.
I was gonna say because that's the hard thing for us when COVID come, and there was no sort of like no gigs in that. It was like I was looking because I had the cab. I've always had the cab. So, but there's loads of other comics there going. Fuck, we've got no transferable skills.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you go on a CV?
Into one thing,
yeah, you go on a CV and go,
else.
I stand on stage and tell jokes. Like, what else can you do? It's like, that's just me skill. It's like, I don't need you in the construction.
So that's it. What's your experience? None.
I've done everything. I've
spent
So you
20
can
years.
train. I imagine the natural thing is to train people and go like be almost a PT sort of thing.
Yeah. So spent 20 years basically getting myself fit, get myself to a weight, and then get in the ring and having a fight. So you've got no experience in jobs, and that's where you find a lot of them will either be like they'll be, driving jobs where they can drive, so they'll get driving jobs, or they'll, as you say, start PTing, start like going to gyms and getting the pads on and that, because that's basically all you know. You drive the gym and you train, so that's the only two things you've got any kind of experience of.
Yeah.
And again, it's sad to see, because as you say, you probably, a lot of them are going to be a good asset to a company where you know the dedication they've got, you know that they can make sacrifices for you and that, but unfortunately it's not looked at it that way. They just look at it and go,
one of them.
are you good in our job? No, we've got no experience
training,
So they
Then them going to being bouncers, or they go, you know what, I don't want to fight at all.
I've seen a few on the doors over the years.
Right.
And I remember like when I first started going out, I used to go to the society, and Noel Corliss was on the door. He fought Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? He's like laughed us and let us in. And that.
He's the one from the box park video that went viral, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the guy? That was such a good video. That you on it? Do you know that one?
No.
It's such a good video.
It went viral in London last year in box park, and he knocked someone out.
That was Julius Francis.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Julius Francis, I know what you mean now. The lad starts like giving out. Julius Francis walks around the side and just clips him, and he's out like a light.
He's stepping away, and he just. I think he's
know what I mean. Julius Francis fought Mike Tyson, mate. He's a proper
like
heavyweight.
All the gang are like
animal.
flying around. Then as soon as he drops him, they all just back off. You're thinking, just took one dig.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Julius Francis had Mike Tyson throwing digs at him, mate. I wouldn't. If I was you, just leave it, mate.
Do you enjoy it?
I know what, in terms of
like
the fighting,
I mean, like
the fighting, you mean?
Yeah.
And now I'm retired. I miss it. Like I'm coaching now, so I'm still going through a lot of it with the fighters, but it's not the same. And I'd be a liar if I said it was. I care about my fighters, and I still have that buzz for them winning, but it's not the same as your own. And no one can explain that feeling when like everything pays off and you win. And raised. It's a massive, like, a lot of it's relief because you don't want to lose. You don't want to be embarrassed. And now what? It's worse now because of them phones and social media and that.
Yeah.
You don't want to be one of them memes where you get absolutely starched and you get put a kip and it's going viral. As you say, like, hey, did you see that kid last night? And you're looking at you and you're getting like sparked.
Just a knockout.
You don't want one of them. So you do worry about things like that. But it's a brutal sport in terms of the highs are so high, but the lows are low as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not nice when it goes wrong. So that fear you get, it's, as you say, when you say do you enjoy it, it's great when it goes right, because you got to remember, at a good level, you're watching your opposition and you're studying with your coach and you're working on a game plan, and look, he does this. Every time he does this wrong, and we've got to capitalise on that. So you're working on it. So when you're in the ring, you don't get time to get nervous and that. You're constantly looking for what you're planning on doing.
Yeah.
And then when it comes off and it goes well, it's the best feeling ever. You're buzzing and you love it. But on the flip side, when it doesn't, it's not nice. Do you know what I mean? I've had fights and being like on the way to the hospital and ambulance, the back just thinking, what am I doing? You know what I mean? The starting to change before when you're worried and you're thinking, gotta be easier ways of making money.
Do you get worried? Do you get like
yeah?
When you, in terms of nerves, what are the nerves for? Is it
it's always been?
Because we assume it's not fear, is it?
No, it's always been. Yeah, it's a type of fear. It's a fear illusion. No, it's more you don't want to lose.
You're not like, scared of anyone, are you? It's more,
no.
Yeah.
That's what I say when people go like, "Hey, like, what about like that? Joshua and Fury won't fight you. He's scared of him," and I'm like, mate.
No one's
professional fighters. They're not scared. No
are they not? Are they not? Is there not one guy you go, oh, he's
what it is basically? Joshua and Fury is probably a bad example because they're massive commodities themselves. Yeah. But if you've got a fighter who's with Eddie Hearn and DAZN, they're investing money in him, they're building them for their platform. And then you've got a fighter who's with Frank Warren's now on DAZN, but when he was with BT, Frank Warren and BT are investing money in a fighter. So when it gets to a good level and there's a fight in VM, They're not going to let, Eddie's not going to let his fighter go and fight on BT and his own hand, and Frank's not going to let his go and fight on his own and BT. Do you know what I mean? They both all invest the money. They want the money to make the money off the fight for themselves. So that's why the bigger fights don't happen. Do you know what I mean? But now you've got this Sheikh El Sheikh from Saudi Arabia who's just basically throwing money at them all and making all the big fights happen. So
is he basically trying to turn boxing into UFC? And it sounds like monopolising it.
Yeah, in a way, he's basically taking all the obstacles out of the way. He's just going, no, look, I want to see you against you. There's the money. So Eddie and you're happy, Frank Warren, you're happy, fighters are happy. Let's do it. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable for boxing in terms of boxing fans, because now you're seeing every fight you thought wouldn't happen. You're seeing them happen now because he's paying for it. But the only way it's sort of slightly affecting boxing is if you're a prospect in this country. When I turned pro, I had 7 in my first year. When Callum had turned pro, he had 9 in his first year. So prospects were just fighting regularly. Now prospects are having like 2 and 3 fights a year, and it's seen as normal because the bills aren't happening not as much now. So all these big fights, like that last bill Callum fought Boatti on, you had like Callum Boatti, that tops a bill in Liverpool or London any day of the week. Dubois against Parker, again, tops a bill, went wherever. Obviously the big one, unbelievable fight, tops a bill. So they're all bill toppers, and you could have them on bills. So on HRM you have like 1,000 card fights or 900 card fights. So where does all these bills would be happening in the country? They're now not. They're now all going to Saudi. So there's less shows happening here for the prospects to fight on. That's the only detriment it is to boxing. Other than that, if you're a boxing fan, you should be absolutely buzzing with this fella being involved.
So you're saying before about like the phones and that, like coming in, making a meme.
Yeah.
Has that changed your industry? Yeah, like the social media side and stuff. Because obviously with ours, that's blown. So social media's blown our industry open. It used to be the way ours used to work. Not too similar to boxing. Is you got your head, you like agents, or your case maybe promoters sort of thing. And we had to go to Edinburgh every year. Your best chance to ever get on telly was to either be in London or be in Edinburgh Festival. And you'd be seen, and then it'd be the old heads or the big agents decide whether they liked you or not. And then they'd pass you to put you on telly or put you on the big fight sort of thing. Whereas what social media did was open it up to like, actually, we don't need telly.
Yeah.
We get our fans out. We'll put clips out and we'll build our own fan base. And then so our Paul Smith, not your Paul Smith, is now doing arenas sort of thing, just off the back of clips on social media. Like, has anyone in boxing, like, I'm assuming that's because that's
and
what
again,
that's
the likes of us see them more on this. Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to say. So with boxing, it's now got its own section in terms of misfits boxing, and
but there's no proper boxers thing.
Yeah, so there is. Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was basically like social media sort of superstar, YouTuber superstar type of thing, seen as sort of that because of like young, brash, upcoming lad, young, good-looking lad, and he was flying and had like millions of followers, and
he was a boxer though.
Yeah, he's a boxer.
He's not like a Logan Paul or Jake Paul.
He's a boxer. He's a boxer. Right, he went and he won the world title, knocked Devin Haney out, who was like an undisputed champion. Devin Haney was a top fighter, and he knocked him out, but failed the drug test afterwards. So it's now he's not a world champion, and he's still not being one, but can fight. You know what I mean?
Surely the money fight for all of you lot now is a YouTuber, isn't it?
But that's I don't know any. Now it's weird because there's this now new market in terms of misfits, and you've got these Jake Pauls and that, and Jake Paul can fight, to be fair to him, but a lot of the others can't, and they can't fight. But what it is basically one's got a shed loads of followers, and the other one has, and then they start a bit of like online beef, and then before you know it, a fight's built. But what's going to happen, in my opinion, one of them's going to get an A because some of them can fight and some of them can't. Do you know what I mean? You can see that when you see them shape up. Some of them aren't bad, but some of them are awful. So one of them's going to end up like
the YouTube kids.
Yeah. There's a few of them I say like Jake Paul and that who can fight, but some of them I've seen on like doing the cards that they're not very
shocking.
Good. But they're getting well paid. But again, that's what you're saying about the market. You're going to them and their first look is your reach, what followers you've got, how many, and you'll get paid based on that rather than how good you are.
Well, that's what it is. Different. Do you not think it'd be long before a boxer starts and goes, well, I don't need BT and the zone, because like they'll have built their own like say Ryan Garcia, I don't know how many followers he had. If he had enough behind him, he could have gone, well, I'll just go on YouTube and put it on pay-per-view on YouTube. Like, I don't need the zone and I don't need BT. So where's the obstacles then, sort of thing?
The nearest example I can give you to that is Jake Paul started his own promotional company, MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, and they're at the minute just like signing up a lot of the female boxers, and they're going to try and like monopolise that side of it. By the looks of things, I don't know, but it looks to me like that's what they're doing. But what he's done, he's got Amanda Serrano, and she's fighting Katie Taylor the third time in July. And the same with the last one. What he does is he's gone to Netflix. And
that's what I mean, yeah.
So that's the start.
It just opens everything up.
Took away all the.
You can just do it themselves on YouTube or something like that.
And it broke all the records for the most watches.
Also,
what I mean?
barrier of the quality. Like now, it's like I don't know who is the best. So now you go. You know, the biggest seller is Jake Paul fighting someone, but who's the actual best boxer? So the might be boxers going, this guy's the best, but he's got no following. No one can promote him, and Jake Paul's not interested in fighting because he's a no one.
No, so you'd have that way where people go on about these pound for pound rankings, and that's where like that's completely opinionated, because pound for pound you've got like Bam Rodriguez, who's an 8-stone fella, and you've got Tyson Fury, who's a 20-odd stone fella. They're never ever going to fight, and if they did, Tyson would batter him because he's too big.
There's no, I mean, Bradley
fighter.
Bradley Martin's the only big guy that would be like qualified to fight a real boxer. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think of all the YouTube stars are like smaller, like Jake Paul's too small to fight a heavyweight.
No, not really, because he's like cruiser. He's only the one below. He's only he's like 14
big,
stone, not Jake Paul. So he's only one away. That's why he's basically mentioned Anthony Joshua, because it's not
that's what I mean.
That far away in terms of weight, but it's far away. It's unrealistic, because you're talking like you've just lost to Tommy Fury, and no disrespect to Tommy Fury, but he couldn't lace like Anthony Joshua's boots. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua's a big, strong man who can punch, and that's when you're starting to look at people getting hurt. Then because you've got
a lot of that. I
imagine
imagine a lot of that talks just for promotion.
That's what it is. That's what everyone's saying. He's very good at what he does, because he gets everyone talking about him. Do you know what I mean? No matter where you go, everyone's talking about Jake Paul, because he's
the only
good at what he does.
When I look at Jake Paul, I was like, you saying about the MVP and the Sandball of Women, it's like, well, you're just going to be the next Eddie. Like, and I'm not no disrespect to Eddie Hearn or anything like that. You're just being another Eddie Hearn. That's all you're doing. You're coming in as another promoter. I'm there thinking, how long is it going to be before you get to, like? So I remember Eddie Hearn talking about, is it Dave Allen? Whose dad's Bosch, who does all the Chinese takeaways? Is that Dave Allen?
No.
What's his name?
Is it Johnny Fisher?
Johnny Fisher.
When I always said Bosch, I was laughing at myself thinking Bosch.
Yeah, because he does all that. His dad does all that. I remember Eddie Hearn saying, "I've never had anyone on so few fights sell so many tickets."
Yeah,
and then I sit there thinking,
sells unbelievable.
Well, why does he need like Eddie Hearn sort of thing? And then it's like, obviously you need it for the, like you say, in the rankings, because he probably wants to be a legitimate title holder sort of thing. But then think, if you've got all that following.
So in boxing, what it's always been for years, I get where you're coming from, and if you sell that many tickets, you can go and do it yourself. But what it always was down to, it was like, I know social media now is getting bigger, where you could build your own fame, but it was always
that's Paul's, like I say, Paul is now the third biggest selling comedian in the country. Yeah, and he's never been on telly. He's got no agents, nothing like that. I just think, well, boxing seems to be the last industry not to have been taken over like that.
But what
you
it's
don't want that
always
relies
been,
on fans.
If you wanted to fight on Sky, then you've got to sign with Boxer and Ben Shalom. If you want to fight on BT, you've got to sign with Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions. And if you want to fight in the Zone, you have to sign with Eddie Hearn. Now Frank's come across to the Zone, so the Zone's coming a bit more of a boxing platform. But it was more about that. It was more about getting you seen. But I get where you're coming from now. Now you're getting more of these views through YouTube and social. So is there a future in that? There possibly is.
Like what's stopping Johnny Fisher going, you know what, I'm going to put on a show.
Yeah.
Show 20,000 people at O2.
Yeah.
And I'm sure someone's going to be like, if he can sell out in the arena.
Definitely be a future, as you say, because of how big the socials are coming now, and the platforms where, again, like YouTube and that, there could be ways where cutting out the middleman and just
that's the future for that. Like I say, that's what's happening. Me and him, we're looking at going on tour. Like I'm trying to go on tour the end of this year. Yeah. He wants to go on tour next year, sort of thing. Neither of us tell your agents anything like that. Just doing it off our back of this, our own clips, like supporting Paul and stuff like that, and just building up your own fan base. And because when you were coming up, how much of that is in the back of your head? How much of that is you've got to build a fan base? How much pressure is there on you for the
when I started off, there was none of it, and then social started like creeping in and becoming more and more, and then as you say, nowadays Misfits is always the best example, but it happens in normal, normal fights.
Yeah.
I've seen it a lot. I've seen fighters, and again, I'm not gonna like mention names, throw them under the bus, but they go into these press conferences purposely to throw a table, to throw something at.
Yeah, well, thing
knowing
is,
full well it sells tickets to people. Go, hey,
he's talks about
see
that.
that?
What's his name? The one Milo had the thing with in one of the clips.
Oh, Chisora.
Chisora.
Yeah.
Which Chisora said, then he said, I threw that table because at the end told me he'd give me an extra 50 grand.
Derek was mad. He done like I remember I boxed in Germany on the undercard when Derek boxed Klitschko, and he walked in the weigh-in and he was just like, you could see he was something in his face. He was just like, yeah, what? And the other one was going, don't, and he was just going, watch. And I thought, what's he up to? Yeah. Next thing he got the middle and he just slapped Sally Klitschko, mate. He was a monster of a man, big Ukrainian, like, and he just slapped him. And then when he got in the ring, he had a mouthful of water and spat it on his brother. The Klitschko brothers, two absolute animals. Didn't care, wasn't bothered in the slightest. Just got no fear at all. And like, as you say,
is that just him as a personality, or is
him looking as a personality? Doesn't care. But as you say, he's got that about him where he's like, promoters will be like, hey, because they know what he's like, he'll do whatever. He's had like at the statement with David A on the press conference after the fight as well. You know what I mean? Slap one brother on the way in, spat water in the other brother's face at the fight, and then after the fight at the statement with David A.
Let's be honest, for the majority of people, we want to watch him fight. Though,
that's what I mean. So when you're talking to Derek
that's why
Chisora,
he's
you're
still
thinking,
on big cards now.
Yeah. So you're looking at Derek Chisora and you're thinking, what's he going to do next? Remember him? He got up in the Dillian White press conference, picked the table up and lashed it right across over Eddie's head, and that, know what I mean? Just didn't care.
Well, one thing about McGregor that I realised so you know the first Diaz fight when he there's a line in it and he goes, oh, he's doing gun signs with one hand and baking balloon animals with the other hand. And I was sitting there going, that is like, as a comic, I'm there going, that's a fucking great line. And I remember watching UFC Unfiltered and he wrote that he's sitting there writing his lines. He's writing his lines, his press comments, and I think, but I've been thinking, well, that's fucking genius. Why aren't boxers working with comedians or working with people working with writers? Like, you should come in, like, because like that clip alone, that's fucking another £1 million on your fight. I remember thinking, like, in this day and age, you know what I mean? I know 20 years ago that wasn't a thing, but now if you're a boxer going to a press conference, you should be preparing that press conference for a week. I know you got to train in that, but you should have someone who's giving you lines going. If you can get this in,
I've never watched an MMA fight in my life till Conor McGregor burst on the scene, and I was a bit like, who's this fella? And he made me laugh at some of the things. Hey, who the fuck is that guy? And I was watching it, he's unbelievable, and he got me watching MMA. And listen, I'm not the biggest fan in the world, but I couldn't name you 10 fighters, but I watched it when he was on. When he fought, I made sure to watch it. And some people have that amazing like crossover appeal where they've just got it, that charisma about them, where it makes you want to watch them and you can either have that, and if you aren't blessed with that, you've got to be.
There's only one guy. I think Khabib's the only guy that could draw a fight, and he hasn't had to be a cunt.
His mouth,
he's the only one. Out of both of them,
I think Khabib. Khabib needed McGregor. I think Khabib was the antithesis of McGregor, and that's what pushed. Like then after the McGregor fight, people enjoyed the character of Khabib then. Because he become
the humble,
he become that sort of the opposite, and then so you get behind like send location.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like what they say now, like the what's his name, Islam now, when he goes, he says we want your kids to be a good MMA fighter. 2-3 years in Dagestan and forget about them.
Yeah.
Send them to Dagestan, forget about them.
Hamzat was another, until he had that fight with that Brazilian fella.
Yeah.
Hamzat, the way he was dismantling people. Have you seen someone steal? Like, it's worth letting somebody batter 15 people within 2 minutes. That will build hype around anyone. You put them against people that people don't know a shit. To go, just batter 15 people in a row, get a 15-0, and you're ready to get sell out.
Well, that's what they give boxing stick.
I know, that's what they.
So that's what they tried to do in the early days with boxing, where just before I turned over, and it was sort of like the motto was like 20 for earning, 20 for learning, 20 for learning, and then 20 for earning. And like your first 20 fights, you wouldn't box anyone. They'd all be journeyman, and you'd turn up and. It started people were getting onto it because
Sam Ireland had Ricky Hatton. Sorry,
people were going to watch boxing shows and knowing full well you could stand in the bar till the main fight because you knew it was just prospects beating journeyman. Every now and then want to get clipped and go over and be like, "Wow, you did the boot!" But more often than not, every undercard, you just know all the home fighters win, and then there's the main card, and the main fight on a card should be.
But even now, you said what was that shock? There was a shock the other month. The fella was 1-20 to win.
Yeah,
I think the fight got don't call it disqualified. The fight got voided because both of them went over the ropes.
Yeah, so they're having a rematch the 20th of April next weekend on Sunday. It's so Ben Whittaker is another one of them. What we talking about then? He's got millions of followers. Like, he's absolutely based on the scene. Like, proper showboats. He's always like
where's he from?
hitting them, spinning around and that. Know what I mean? I don't know where he's actually from. Ben, in Midlands somewhere. I think he's from. But he fought Liam Camden. So Liam Camden's a mad story in boxing. He boxed our Callum in the amateurs. Actually, he's a nice enough lad. But he failed a drug test, but it was like cocaine or something.
Right.
Like,
it wasn't
not PED.
Not wasn't like steroids or nothing where he's trying to hurt someone. It was basically between fights. He's fucking gone out and whatever he's done. He's took a drug, whatever. Know what I mean? I don't want to say the wrong word, but he's failed a drug test. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, he 100%
recreational drug.
But he basically, that's it. That's recreational drugs. And he went out and basically they tried to make an example of him and he banned him for like 4 years or something. You've got fellas taking steroids where they can potentially kill someone in a boxing ring and they're getting 6-month bans and that, and it's embarrassing. Like, until they start, these fellas who are failing drug tests and you can only inject it, then you're a cheat 100%. You should be banned for life.
It's money though, innit? If you worth more, you get away with everything.
You're only going to get away with it if you ban them for life. I'm just talking about in boxing. You're going in a sport, you're going in a ring, you can kill someone. There's people die in boxing every year. It's sad, but until he ban him. But he made an example of this poor lad, Liam Cameron, gave him a 4-year ban, and he saved his ban, come back to boxing, and was a bit like, he'd put loads of weight and he'd gone heavier than that. Yeah. And it's a good story, the fact that he got himself back to being boxing. It was like, Eddie, any chance? When he ended, he put him on one of his bills and he was like, unbelievable, he's back and that. And then he got a couple of wins, and the next minute he's fighting Ben Whittaker. So it's a bit like, you've got this kid who's been missing and gone because he failed the test, and you've got like the up-and-coming star, Ben Whittaker, Olympic silver medalist, millions of followers, he's beating everyone in front of him, and he's embarrassing them. He's like looking at the camera.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I've seen.
He's one of them. He's looking at the cameras, going, "Yeah." And he's good to watch. And then anyway, when he fought, Whittaker started well, and then Cameron was just opening it up and getting to him, and he looked a bit uncomfortable, Whittaker, in my opinion. And then I said he both fell over the top rope. Liam got back in the ring, Cameron, and Whittaker was like, couldn't carry on. I got wheels out of the ring and said his ankle had gone or whatever. No idea what he'd done, how bad the injury was, but he couldn't carry on. So the fight was given a draw or something. So they're having the rematch this weekend. But he got a bit of stick from Whittaker. He's got a lot to prove now because he's absolutely like, he passed everyone he's been in the ring with, and all of a sudden he's got a test with this kid.
Yeah,
so
look,
everyone's interested now to see how he responds. His first little bit of drama he's had in his career. So it's going to be interesting to see whether he can do a job and then say.
So is he still zero?
Yeah, he's still unbeaten. He's still unbeaten. But he's now got a draw on it, and he's got to go and he's got the rematch. Yeah, I think it's Easter Sunday.
Is this on Sky? Is this going to be on Sky?
Yeah, it's on Sky. It'll be, yeah.
You know that you said about unbeaten the zero.
Yeah.
How come? Do you think that is a bad thing for boxing?
Yeah.
Because like MMA, no one's asked what your losses are.
This is where MMA became good for boxing, and this is where Floyd Mayweather came bad for boxing. And I'll never disrespect Mayweather, unbelievable fighter, and again 5-weight world champion, and retired unbeaten, 50-0, unbelievable career, made more money than any athlete ever has in any generation. Unbelievable what he done as a businessman as well as a sportsman, unreal. But he basically based his career on his own, like. And he
that's all everyone seems to be.
He just played on it. He picked his opponents. He fought like twice a year, May, September's and all that. He always like picking his day, always fighting. Fair to him, he's got a great resume. The fights he beat,
he beat
top draw, but it was always on his teams and all that. Everyone says, but he retired and he protected that all. So everyone sort of obviously looking up to Floyd was like, got to stay unbeaten. Can't lose your out. And everyone was
Floyd,
it was that sort of generation where everyone, and then MMA's based on the scene, and it was just like number one's fighting number 2 and number 3's fighting number 4, and they're just all fighting each other, and it was like,
and number 1's got 5 losses.
Yeah, no one was asked about records. Like again, not the most.
John Jones.
Yeah,
he's the anomaly.
Even he's got a 1 on, and the argument should be taken off.
Yeah.
But like I think Khabib had a no as well. But Khabib's one was arguable as well. So
my thing is for someone as an outsider looking at MMA, what I loved about it and still do. Again, I'm going to struggle naming names, but if I go Conor McGregor, Khabib, even like fighters like now, I couldn't tell you any one of the records. I wouldn't know records.
Yeah.
Whereas like boxers are all like, he's 18 and he's 19 and he's 20 and I couldn't tell you any MMA fighters' records. It's like, it's just not that fussed. It's like the number 3 is fighting the number 2 and it's like it's a good fight, or he's fighting for the title. It's not a case of like, he's 12 and he's 6 like I don't really hear that on the MMA side. I couldn't tell you any records. With the MMA,
that's
good.
A lot of it goes down to because there's so many different ways to finish.
Yeah.
That the old doesn't really matter, because it'd be like you can have like McGregor a good striker, could be a wrestler sort of thing, where you're like, he's got 4 losses, but do it early on, and he's learned to wrestle since, and then it's dead interesting how they come back. And it's, like styles make fights sort of thing. Where
that's it. They build it more on the good fight rather than 2 good records fighting. So it's like 2 good fighters are fighting, and it'll be a good fight. It should gel well or whatever. And I think boxing's got to take more. Has started taking more from that, and especially the Saudis helping a bit where people want to see a fight now. It's starting to happen.
A good fight is ultimately the best thing, but I do think they all want UFC now with Paddy the Baddy. They are protecting that, like, because that is a big sell for them.
You think they're protecting Paddy?
I think you need that 0 is still huge.
No, because he's going against Chandler this week. They're not. That's not protecting Paddy. Chandler's one of the top 5 fighters.
I don't know Paddy's record.
He's not lost yet,
hasn't he?
No, I don't think he
not in the UFC. Not in the UFC, so he has lost previously in cage wars, maybe something.
So when he's fighting, if his record comes up, will he be like
he's got 2
losses?
I think he's something like 15-2.
See, there you go. So he's unbeaten in the MMA, but he's like his record's 15-2.
Or maybe 11-2, then or something like that.
Paddy's not lost.
He lost in cage warriors,
Maybe cage, but not UFC.
He's not lost in UFC, but he's only had 3 fights or 4 fights in UFC.
Yeah, but UFC have managed to make it that nothing counts outside of them, have they? So that's why it sounds still.
Well, it's not, because no one.
Paddy loses.
But
Next,
but when Paddy's record comes up, it still says 2 losses.
Yeah, to me, when you're introducing him, like that's what I'm saying, you don't look at their record and go,
no, well, Tom Aspinall is waiting to fight John Jones. He's lost twice.
Yeah.
No one, everyone's going, he could be the greatest ever.
UFC, has he? That's the same thing.
But to me, Jones is the only exciting fight now for me in UFC. Paddy still, because he's still got the 0 and thinking, what point is he going to... I don't know who the good fighters are, but John Jones to me is just such an enigma, because he's such a wild man.
Yeah, but that's more force of personality though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's more the fact that he's so good that that you want to see someone beat him sort of thing.
Yeah, that's
or
what
you want him to go out and not be beat, like, because he faced one of the greatest to ever do in UFC. He was like, I beat you after partying on cocaine a few days before, like, sort of thing. Like, it's like that sort of that ability sort of thing. So everyone's like, fucking.
But I'm also obsessed with just people being hard, and the fact he's a heavyweight. The heavyweight as well, like that's to me, like the fact that he could stand in any room with anyone. Just rip them limb from limb makes me go like that. I'm fascinated by it. Like that, you sat there now going like, I could just you could light me up and kill me is amazing to me.
Yeah, but again,
I like that's
we
so
can all
good.
Punch, but people like him, mate. I remember laughing, right? And I went into it. I went into my old school. I was in Archbishop Beck, and we went in, and I went in, me and Dad and Till, and we were talking to all the kids about like fighting different backgrounds and that, and then we had 2 demonstrations. So I got up first, started like, kid, this is how you stand. You sort of bend your back legs, so you've got power in your backhand, like your backhand's your big one and all that. But when you've rotated, you can then throw your hooks and showing the kids and that. And then it gets to like Dad and saying, Dad and goes, yeah, so look. And I know Darren really well, none of he is and that. And I'm looking at him thinking, don't take the piss, you know what I mean? Because I'm thinking he could throw me round here.
Right, yeah.
No, look. He said, so the way, like, if Swifty comes at me there with his front leg, that's just to take that look at, and I'll sing, and I'm going, lads. And he just sort of took me front leg, flipped me over him. And then before I knew it, he's on top of me, and I'm like, he grabbed me down the neck. And I'm laughing to myself, and I'm thinking, boxers, like, you know, we can punch and all that, but you miss with someone like him and he gets older, you're absolutely fucked.
Tony Bellew said the same thing. He was like, fucked. I used to think, MMA fighters were pussies, and then I got in a cage with one, and he just fucking murdered me.
Yeah, and it's the same thing because there's the crossover, I'd fancy myself with any MMA in a boxing fight. Of course I would. I'm a boxer.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was a boxer. But it's a different world altogether. When you get in that cage, all of a sudden, you know, you've got
loads of things
you've got one shot.
Yeah.
And even that, you probably haven't got it because they know you can punch. They just take your down straight away. They just go for your feet. They just wait.
I've
no kicks. And then,
have you heard of King of the Streets?
No.
Oh, this Russian thing.
Yeah.
No holds barred. They meet up in a car park somewhere, all ballied up, fly over to Berlin. 2 people come out, eye gouging, everything. Just vile. Yeah. One guy bit his ear off and they just give him back at the end. He went, "Oh, my mum, thank you for
sorry
that."
about that, yeah.
But it's horrible. It's what would you, would is there anything in you that you go, I'd do that? Like, would you ever go, I'll do a no holds barred fight on concrete, just...
Not if people are biting ears and that, not a chance. I'll tell you straight.
That's a different mindset.
I'd be like, go ahead, yeah, where'd you go? Yeah, he's around the bend. He'd love it.
He'd eye
gouge. I was
gouge.
laughing at Liam because when we've all grew up, 4 brothers, all boxed, all only ever boxed, like when we were kids fighting in the house and that. And then people say it's like on the streets, and I'm like, we're all like respectful people. We all never really fighting and that, but the only one out of us where you'd look off the bus and see a straight and going, it was always Liam. Like Liam was just mad. So we in it like that, he'd go, do you get paid? Like,
was someone from Liverpool doing it?
When the rest of you play footy?
So Liam,
I don't know that's what I mean. The rest of you, because
still playing now. We all played.
Well, I used to play after you, Liam.
Yeah, we all played, but it got to kids. Yeah, we got to kids, and then we're like, oh, we're boxing. The boxing's important. Now if we get injured,
and he carried on,
we're gonna be out.
I play with Liam on Buckley Hill.
Yeah, so Liam would give boxing up first, mate. Doesn't care.
I play with Bellew on Buckley Hill. Just like I remember my mate double-footed Bellew, like psychopath.
Yeah,
what are you doing? Like, double-footed Bellew and telling him to fuck off or something. You're like, what the fuck
are you doing?
Like, exactly, just fucking mad cunt. But like, because your Liam used to play on Bootle FC before the hour before us, and he's mouthy when he plays footy. I remember thinking,
who's the best footy player? Liam.
Thinking he just like. It must be a nightmare playing with him because you can't have the fucking...
We all played... It's weird, he plays up front of a Saturday but at the back of a Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Is he still playing both days? Like,
still plays both days around the bend. Like, we laugh because...
He's back fighting as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back fighting. He's fighting 2 weeks. He's on the Ben Eubank. He's fighting Adam McKenna. He's 19 and 0. It's a good fight for him, to be honest. He's an hardest kid. So he's on the Ben Eubank undercard. But what he does now, the last few weeks before the fight... He stops playing, so he doesn't get in. But like you're talking a couple of weeks out, know what I mean? But so we're all laughing because when he beat Eubank on the Saturday, and on the Sunday, he like me saying this, he played in the National Cup and missed a pen. And he's like that reliable with his pens. He said he scored like 19 pens or whatever, and he missed one. And because whatever the teams he plays for, Saturday, Sunday, the keeper plays in goal with him, and give him the ball and went, lad, I know where you go. And like started laughing.
He got saved.
Yeah, so he was like, no, I'm not asked. He said, like, I'm like, he won't outsight me. So Liam still went the same way, but put it wide, or he swapped sides and put it wide. One or the other, but he put the pen wide. He was fuming with himself. So he said, what a weekend. He was everywhere for beating Eubank on the Saturday. And he's in the national papers for missing a pen in the National Cup on the Sunday.
That's mad that he'd still play after that fight, though.
Honest, every time.
So he's the most violent out of the 4 of you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He just loves it.
Oh, he's one of them. I was laughing, say to people, like, it's a mentality. You know you can look after yourself. If you're after, you can fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, average man or whatever, but he's always been one of them, Liam, where someone come to the gym and said, there's 3 fellas outside looking for you there. I'd go, what? 3 fellas? I go like, so one of my brothers, come out here with me, and I'd make sure someone was with me.
Yeah.
He'd just go, wait, won't just walk out. He wouldn't even say, come with me, and he'd just fucking fly out him. He's just, he's mad like that, where he would never back down to him. He's always been the one out of us where we've always thought, like, oh, fuck, where's Liam?
Oh, right, he's a liability sort of thing.
When we're kids, you'd have to go, he doesn't look for it, but he just wouldn't never back down.
Like, when I see, like, so have you ever been in a position, here's another thing, one of my little traits, right? So you're in a fight with them. They're fucking battered.
Yeah.
Do you take any joy in going, oh, his eyes hanging off there, I'm going to rip it? Like, are you, is that where you're in your mind? Like, because I'd look at him and go, I can't keep hitting him on that eye. Like, he's going to fall out.
Yeah, no, you just...
That's where MMA thinks.
You know, up the referee does his job. The referee's meant to say.
Like your ear, for example.
Yeah, like, I remember I boxed. I was on. They have like a slot in boxing which is called the live float, and you basically the float if any of the main fights get stopped to fill that gap, rather than like if you've got like 2 title fights and you know you're on after that, but that one goes in a round. You
rather than change anyone's
they
time.
won't throw like they'll have the float ready, so you're ready, waiting in case something happens. So I was the live float.
I always wonder what
being
happened.
on it.
What? So there's another fight that you might not even be on, but if something happens, you've got to go on.
So no, you will get into fighting, but you just don't know when you're on. So it's mad. You end up warming up loads.
So if you're the head of that fight, so you get told the time you're fighting, and that's it.
Yeah. You get told the top of the bill will go at that. But if
I
all the fights before go to points, it can drag on. You can get told.
But if all the fights go and knockouts, it's just what did you
then
play a bit of music and all that?
So when you're on the telly slot, the telly will start at whatever. So you'll know if you're first live, it's the best slot in boxing. They say like apart from top of the bill, because if you know if it comes on the telly at 7, they'll talk, and your ring walk starts at 7:05. So you know you're definitely walking the ring. If everything gets knocked out before you, there's a gap in the arena. Everyone's got to be entertained, but it's good. So when you have a live float, it's called. I was the live float on a fight on in the MEN arena. It was only my second fight, and Amir Khan fought, I think it was Michael Gomez, and basically the way the fights went, the one before it got stopped, and I went on right before Amir Khan. There was 22,000 people in the arena doing Mexican waves and that. I'm walking the ring, second fight, like wow, this is.
What, your second professional fight?
Second professional fight. I boxed
22,000.
Bulgaria. They were doing Mexican waves, and that was unbelievable. And I was just like giddy. I went out on a bat. The fella stopped him in a round, and then so buzzing like this is boss. These pros. Made up myself.
Did you take any punishment at all?
Nah,
I was just lit him up.
So then in my 6th fight, I was the live float again. So I was like, sound, made up with that, know what I mean? Thinking, you get a good slot. It was the day the Olympians at the time, Frankie Garvin, James DeGale, and Billy Joe Saunders went pro, and all the fights went to points, and I ended up going on like 20 past midnight. Mate, there was people walking out the arena and like stacking chairs and that, know what I mean?
20 past midnight?
20 past midnight.
So you're going to fly... So
it's after the telly, the show's finished. On the telly, the show's done. Yeah. But I've still got to fight.
So hang on, so
if you're the live float, you fight no matter what?
You fight. If it goes over time, then you don't have to fight. If he said to me, if you don't get in the ring now, you can't fight, because you couldn't go past like at past midnight, whatever it was. So it was only like a 4 round. Whatever the time was, I had to get in the ring now. I'm in the ring 20 past midnight, and he literally goes, red corner Smith, blue corner Gatton, box. Like, dead quick, got on with it, because they had to be out the arena by a certain time. You don't have to the curfew, whatever it is. So, I remember running out to him.
Are you thinking, I've trained all the time, there's no way I'm not fighting?
Yeah, if you don't fight, you have to decide put it on the next bill. Whatever happened to our Paul once, he was on the team.
Hang on, let me get my head around this. So they schedule it obviously around the TV. So therefore, if all the fights are going the distance, then the TV fight needs to happen.
On, and the show's finished on telly. But in that arena, I'm still sitting there and haven't had a fight. So I've ended up running the ring, getting in the ring 20 past midnight, and I'm raging. I've warmed up about 5 times. If this one goes in 2, you're on. If this one goes in 2, you're on, and all that. And in the end, I've warmed up, sat back down. I'm now raging, just like, get me home. And then he comes and goes, look, you got to go after the main. So I'm sitting down there. The main went 11 rounds. Skelton Dogan it was, and it went 11 rounds. And in the end, I just ran in the ring, got in. And as you were saying then, I thought this fella, lovely fella he was as well, and goes out, and it was just, there was no technique at all. I just tried to kill him. I just
had to go home.
Floor, just honest to God, I just wanted to get home then.
Yeah.
And I remember like belting him, and like his eyes, blood just squirting, and I was thinking like, whoa, he's in about way, you know, and he's like, let my hands go, and I think like the bell went the end or something, and he didn't come back out after 1 round, or the referee stopped. I can't remember, but it done him in the round. And I remember that one thinking like there was blood on me, but it was squirting off him, like it was bad, but I was just went in there fuming. Anyone after
Liam would be like, come on, let's
keep going.
So Liam's thinking you're a little bitch, thinking like, fucking hell, lad. Right.
I remember thinking that, like, that was a bit brutal, but just sort of anger, and you don't really try and let that creep into your boxing. But
you know, when you're saying then, he's a lovely bloke, does that make it, does that bother you at all?
It's hard sometimes when you box, people like, because of boxing as well, like the boxing community, boxing world's quite small, you know, everyone you see them all different shows, and that, you start getting to know each other.
No matter how famous someone is, you'll meet them.
You always meet them, yeah. And I feel like now as well, I'm feeling that a lot more even as a coach. There's a lot of fighters I like, I don't coach them, and know what I mean, and they're not from Liverpool, they're not, don't same at me, but I like them. But then I can have a fighter in the opposite corner, do you know what I mean? It just is what it is type of thing, and you've got to just, it's a job, you've got to get on with it. But I've had mad ones where I find it really hard when, like, I was in like went to Commonwealth Games and same Olympic team stuff as like training for the Olympics with James DeGale, really good roommate of mine, and then we all goes pro and he fights for British title against my brother Paul. So it was like, whoa! As soon as it was done, I thought, so I just messaged him, look, and he was like, stay, I completely understand, blood's thicker than water, look, we'll just speak after the fight and that. So I just obviously didn't speak to him, and then I seen him after the night of the fight, and he beat my brother. So I was just like, it was what it was. I was gutted for my brother, but it was a horrible feeling because he's my mate, you know what I mean? And then when we first met up after it, just gave him a hug, and I was like, look, it's done, forget about it. And like, I didn't enjoy it at all, obviously.
Did your brother get any damage done to him?
No, he lost. He wasn't
badly beaten up.
I don't feel like he prepared properly, Paul. Do you know what I mean? For that fight, I just don't know whether Martin's put on or whatever, but it was just one of them. Look, James was good on the night and he won really well. And then Paul regrouped again and come back and ends up better from it. No, he learns a lot from the fight, but it's just hard to watch sometimes because I've had it where two mates have boxed each other. I've had it in the amateurs where two gym mates have boxed each other, and you've all got to just sit there quiet. You can't really.
Yeah,
I mean, they're my brother, so obviously I want my brother to win and still support my brother. I always will, but it just wasn't nice knowing that the fella he's against a good mate of mine. I didn't like it at all.
I just think that as long as there's no damage, that's all I'd be like. Like if you've seen him get knocked out or their eyes are gone and all that, and you're thinking, oh shit, he's like his life's changed now.
Do you know what? It is a gentleman's sport in terms of like, you know, you can be trying to take someone's head off and a bell will ring and you hug each other straight away and you have a respect level. It's hard to explain, but you gain so much respect for someone. You've given them your best and they're still standing. You think, nah, no, what you're a proper fella, like you're a good man. And even after fights, you have like, but you like
the whole gypsy. Yeah, good man, go fight.
You're a good man. You're a good man. No, but I find like after the fight, it's like normal protocol. You beat the champion. You take his belt off him. You're standing there and getting pictures and that. But that's his belt. You got to go and give him it back. You get sent a new belt.
Yeah.
When you win a belt in boxing, you keep it. That's your belt.
Yeah, but it's same in the UFC. But in the UFC, they have the new belt there that night.
Yeah, so is
it different in boxing?
In boxing, they don't know. They'll probably open the champion wins, so you have to pay for a new one.
Because when McGregor got two belts and kicked off because both belts weren't there. Because they said, well, you should have brought your other one.
Yeah,
that was the UFC's argument. Was like, your 145 wasn't on the line. You should have brought that with you. We give you the new one. You should have brought the other one.
So, for example, like with that, where you say the good people, Callum's just fought Josh Buatsi for his WBO interim title, and Josh was the champion. So we've gone in there, great fight, two of them give everything. Like Josh was as good as I've seen him in that fight, and he was really tough. And I thought Callum would finish him. I was convinced he would, and he kept taking him and coming back. And I was in the corner, like just looking, thinking, "Go to Hamill," you know what I mean? Kept staying up, kept fighting, and a great fight. Everyone's commenting how good the fight it was. So obviously Callum wins, gets his pictures in the ring, and now he's got the belt. So as he walks out, you go to the medical. And Callum had a terrible cut, and he said, "Look, we're not happy stitching this because you just stitch it there and then the change, just bang the stitches in, and you're full of adrenaline. You don't really feel nothing." And he went, "Look, the muscle underneath ripped. We're gonna have to go to the hospital here and get a plastic surgeon look at this." So Callum was like, "Yeah, no worries." So we got right in the ambulance. So I was like, "I'll get a picture with the belt because we'll have to take it back to Josh, his belt." So I've got a picture on my phone. I'll show you when I finish. Callum in the back of an ambulance got a big fucking eye patch on his eye with this belt, like getting a picture, and then goes to the hospital. So me, Liam and Paul, to be honest with you, three brothers, goes in, knocks the door, and he was just sitting in the chair, and we were like, "Look, Josh, sorry mate, here's your belt." And he was like, "Where's Callum?" He said, "Let's go to the hospital, mate. Is he okay?" He was like, "Yeah, his eye needs stitching up." And he went, he looked down, he just went, "Look, this is not right." He said, "Keep the belt. I'm in the same hotel. Let Callum see the belt, let him have time, let some pictures with it." He said, "I'll just see him tomorrow." And I thought it was a proper classy thing, you know what I mean? He went right up in my estimation. Not that I didn't like the lad anyway, but I thought, "Nah, no, you're a really good lad. You, the fact that at that time, it's his first loss, he's sitting there, he's devastated, and to think of someone else like that and think, nah, no, it's not right."
Know what it means to someone.
Yeah, and then later on in the night, Callum obviously come back from the hospital. They bumped into each other in the hotel reception. Everyone like clapped them and then got pictures of them and that, which was a nice moment. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you see after the fight, you see the real person. Because before it, like, it's all bravado, but we're fighting before it. I'm going to flat you, I'm going to knock you flat.
Whose beefs are real? There's got to be couple.
That's what I mean. Most of them are. That's what I'm saying. Most of them, you're going in to fight them and he's trying to beat you. You're looking at trying to take food off your kids. Because you get paid your contract, whatever you agree. We're fighting. I agree with my promoter, my money, and he's paying me X amount. You're getting paid X amount. If I knock you out in a round or you knock me out in a round, doesn't matter. You get paid that money.
Yeah.
What it is then is your next one. So now, Josh would have been Callum. Callum's been in a position where you're like, where'd you go now, mate? Like, belt sides up, you've been beat there, you've got to look at hanging them up. Whereas now he's won. Everyone's like, who's next for Callum Smith? Oh, this fight. And now he got paid whatever he got there. If he did knock Joshua out in a round or if he did knock went to points, which he did, he still got the same money. That was set beforehand. But now, he's now got another fight. He's got another big name sorting out him, and then it's your future in. And so what you look at as that is he's trying to stop you in. And so
you're stopping your training.
Yeah. So you do find ways to dislike people, and you don't like them because it's easier to beat someone if you don't like them.
Are there any ones in boxing now that you could say they actually hate each other? And
Ben Eubank. Is
that real? That's real, isn't it?
They hate each other, yeah. Like,
would they have known each other?
Well, that's the dads as well, isn't it?
Known of each other because the dads boxed each other twice and like was two iconic fights.
Like the egg thing, was...
Yeah, he's like, again, what you're saying about preempting things and that. He'll have sat there and told, because the whole story about the eggs, Conor Ben failed the drug test and he had clomiphene in his the women's facility drug in his system, and was like, how's he got that? How's that in your system unless you're cheating? And Ruby C come out with a thing where he said, yeah, you can actually get it from eggs, so you know. It wasn't Conor Ben. So that Conor Ben actually remember saying, like, I don't know, he's eggs or something. Like, he was basically, it wasn't me who said that.
Yeah.
But because Ruby C put it out there, it just went viral then. Conor, because you'd have to eat something like 1,000 eggs a week to have the amount he had in the system or whatever it was.
Right.
So everyone just right away then, there's just pictures of Conor Ben going around, like, sitting on eggs and all that. Like, just he was getting sliced.
Isn't that the stuff they get caught for as well? Not just the stuff that, like, that female drug thing doesn't improve you, does it? That'll be a masking thing, won't it? To mask what
no, so what it is basically, when people cheat and go on steroids, they inject synthetic testosterone into the body, so your own body sources stop producing it. So then
we got loads of mates on test. Like.
Yeah. So when they it's out of your system, to get your body to kick back in, you basically get the women's, and then your body goes, whoa, and then your body kicks in. So when a women's thing's in, it's like finishing a cycle.
Yeah.
So that's where other people are looking at him thinking, definitely a cheat.
Yeah,
you got that in. Whereas he's looking at it and saying, well, I'm not a cheat. He's adamant. He's telling everyone he's not a cheat and whatever else. And then now he's being cleared. So he's whatever. But again, I don't know. I've never seen no evidence for or against. So
the thing with the face-offs, I was going to ask you, because this is something that goes through my head as well watching it, is I just think, you ever thinking they're going to just fucking nut me? Like I just see it. They get like that and I think, he's gonna nut me. I like. Well, you just gonna take that. If you just say in your head, I'm gonna take whatever headbutt or whatever.
No, a lot of times you look at them and you just like, you see the fighters and you can see the fist clenched and they're thinking, he doesn't want to belt him, and like they're ready to throw back.
You can't flinch, can you? You can't flinch.
No, so that's why. So because you're sitting there and you're sort of waiting, thinking. More often than not, you're just staring and you know they're not going. You know the person. You think he hasn't got it in him. He's not that person.
Well, so they're going to sacrifice money.
But when there's bad need like them too, I'd be, especially now he's out there, they won't get head to head again. They'll get kept apart then because they know
they can't be like that.
In one, he's gonna go for them or something. But you're constantly waiting for him to do something, and that's why a lot of them now give it all the hey, because they, if the other one just died,
I seen what happened at Wembley or something. One went like that, and he went, "Hey, let's stay to you" or something.
Yeah, so most of them won't flinch. They try the best. They'd rather get belted than flinch because they know that's the meme stuff. That's when you get.
But like, I just think
I'll be necking everyone, mate.
Like they get that
too intense.
But they get so close. I'm thinking he's just gonna go fuck off and like nothing there. Be like,
that's the thing again. No, is no way.
Hey, and Chisora when he bottled him
head to heads. Yeah. Saying I was at the press conference, I boxed on that card.
Did you?
And Chisora just walking at him. And I think they half expected security to grab him. There's no security.
And then they went too far.
They get closer in the end. They're like, shit, we've got to fight.
Hold me back.
The bottle in his hand, throwing left hooks at him, and he was like, he glassed me, remember? The bottle in his hand when he hit him. But that's why again,
he's got that dog in him, and he'll bottle someone.
They have head to heads all the time, and that's why every one of them goes, yeah, your breath stinks. That's the main line. But you got to remember, people are weighing in, making weight. Probably having effort about 2 days.
Yeah.
When everyone's going on now, all the new thing now is fasting, mate. If everyone's on a fast and your body
do you not shower for a few weeks before
your body goes into ketosis, your body's basically eating itself, your breath stinks shit, mate. It absolutely stinks. Most people at that way, and the breath genuinely doesn't. They're that close. We'll breathe on each other like, wow, your breath stinks. No shit.
I'm sure someone was doing a UFC thing where the guy would literally shit himself. In the UFC, shit himself so that 3 weeks, no shower,
you wouldn't take
shit
him
in his
down.
kecks.
You wouldn't wipe his ass for 3 weeks. So if you wouldn't want to take him down and stuff like that.
So if you're rolling with, you just think.
Imagine going like that.
There's got to be some boxers who do that.
No,
what's up, James? They have smelly breath, so they can't
just go in stinking. I don't even want to be anywhere near you. It's like when I say you see some case, you go like, I wouldn't want to even punch you. You're that fucking horrible looking, like teeth and eyes all going. I don't even want to be fist to touch your face.
About one lad.
You've never thought, I'm going to go and just stink in a shit.
No.
Just go in with breath stinking. So when you go into a clinch, they go, oh, you fuck.
Being in some of them multinations as an amateur, like, and some of the countries you box against, they don't smell the best, like, but it's just
cultural thing.
It's just one of them, isn't it?
So you never worried about getting twatted in the face off? Never been?
No. What you touched on before, when the phone started, I noticed the difference towards the end of my career when I had kids, and I remember thinking like, I always prayed and said a prayer and said, look, just keep me safe, keep my opponent safe. Like, I'd never want to hurt anyone in terms of like, I don't know how these boxers get over it where they've done serious damage to people.
Wilder got in trouble, didn't he? Saying he wanted to kill.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I'm not into it at all. Like, where these fighters are saying like, I want to kill him, and I just think, mate, there's genuine people like, they don't go into the families. It's our pain. And no, there's been bad things happening in the sport. At the end of the day, you're not punching each other. So I don't like none of that. So I always say a prayer for, like, keep me safe and keep me opponent safe. Well, it's all about going to our families, and then if I can perform, you know what I mean? But I always knew I was well prepared. But I did find myself towards the end, I can't even lie, I'd be in the changing rooms and I'd be like getting warmed up, and you're getting in the zone and you're thinking like, come on, I've got to beat him in. And I think, don't let nothing bad happen with him, a fucking meme. You know what I mean? That'd be part of me, like, don't let me kids get skits in school. Like, this show's out here, and I'm like,
surely,
that's how much.
Like, I was that creeping in your head before, right? But I swear it did for me. And I remember thinking at the end, like, these phones are killing me. Like, these phones, if something bad happens,
how old are you?
Gonna get it. 39.
Yeah, right. I thought you were same age as me, 37. So how many kids did you have when you start the end of the boxing?
My 2 lads were born. I've got like pictures of me lads, like, we used to weigh in, rehydrating, and I'd have like ice cream to that with carbs and my muscles and stuff. And I used to always have the kids with me eating ice cream. They used to love it. Like, Dad, you weighing in eating ice cream? So we'd have ice cream together, and then I'd go to the hotel, they'd stay at home, and they would never come to boxing or nothing. They were only young, but I remember that stuff, like, towards the end, the social media bit was getting a bit more and more.
Because like with us,
I was thinking, don't let nothing daft happen here when my kids are going to be in school and YouTube's popping up and is this yours out here?
That's my biggest fear.
That's the thing.
That's it creeping. I can't lie. I can't sit here and go, no, but I've never like a shit house or anything. I'd always fight with anyone, and as I say, there's fights where you seem like me, and then I've had injuries in fights, and I carry on fighting. It wouldn't bother me. I've had cuts on my eyes and that. Give it everything I've got for 12 rounds. I've never ever thought, I can't carry on. I've done me. Snap my hands in a fight, cut my hands, cut my ear. I've had all of that and never ever looked for the way out.
Have you ever been in a fight and been in your head going, I wish one of these would just fucking call this?
No, I remember.
Or have you generally always gone, I want to go out no matter what? Like, have you ever been that badly fucked?
No doubt I was saying you'd have to carry me out. I would never ever quit in a fight. And
really?
I'd never quit in a fight.
Even if you got back and you were just like,
I couldn't look at me.
This guy is this is levels like you're. My God!
I've had 5. I remember I fought for the WBA title in Monte Carlo, and I fought a fella, Jason Souza, and he'd knocked his last 14 out on the run, apart from a draw with Nicholas Walters, who was a good fighter. He'd won all his last 14 by knockout, and I was a super featherweight, so that was like 9 stone 4. If you're that like 9 stone 4 and you're knocking everyone out, you can seriously punch. So I knew he could punch, but even when you get in, you're still thinking like, go on it, you know what I mean? You want to feel it, and
you want to feel one.
2 shots he threw. Like, I remember he both hit me high on the head, and it was like a bomb went off in my head, and I was like,
I've said this before. Like, did you ever get bad thinking my head's banging now? Like, you want a paracetamol?
It was like, what, mate? The next day after that fight, we went to say Monte Carlo, and I'm travelling home the next day, and I lost on point. It was good. I had 12 round, but I goes out. Round 2, he sort of like bundles me over. I goes down, the referee counts me, and I'm like, he didn't even hit me. He swear he didn't hit me hard in the fight, but he didn't hit me at the time. And knocked, so I was fuming at winning a knockdown, but he's given a knockdown, so I'm thinking, shit, that's a 10-8 round. Round 3, riding the bell, throws a big crazy left hook and just splits me eye. I've got a big gash on my eye.
Is that what that scar?
I'm thinking, wow, what's going on here? Like, anything else go wrong for me here? So at the end, I remember, like you were saying, then when you sit in your stool, I sat down on my stool. I think it was before round 4 or the end of round 4. I remember closing my eyes and just thinking, you either stop feeling sorry for yourself, or get out and fight him.
Yeah.
Go on, get out the ring and be like, you got them. You always have a good voice and a bad voice. I'm gonna smash him here. Yeah. What if you don't? I'm gonna watch.
You can't lose your head, can you?
I'm gonna smash him. Yeah, but what if you get flattened? Yeah. And you kids see it. Nah, fuck off. Not. You'd always have that in every walk of life, and you'd have that. I was sitting on a stool and I remember just like having a way at myself, and it was like, feel sorry for yourself. Get out the ring now if you want. Go ahead, shit out. Then messing at you, not a chance. Couldn't look at my brothers again. Know what I mean? So it was like, get in and fucking make him beat you. Go and get out and like fight him, and it did. And from like, I felt like from 4 onwards, it was a boss fight. It was a tough, hard fight. Like I feel every shot, but it was a good, hard 12-round fight, and he won. And I thought he won the fight. He won on points. And then I remember going home. Back at the big like sweet Monte Carlo, was unbelievable. I remember lying in bed like my wife, and I was like, do you know what? Like, you're all right. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? I can live with it. I give everything I had. I'm okay with it. Whereas if I would have, like I say, when you question yourself, if I'd have looked to hide and looked to protect myself and just think, oh, if I just stay out of trouble, I can go to points easy, and I'd never forgive myself. I always know I give everything I got every time before, so I'm okay with it. But I remember going home. I travelled home and made me face again. I'll show you the picture after this. Black and blue, like I was.
That's what we don't see the 3 days after. We don't see that.
Caked in bruises right to the point where I opened the door. And my little lad see me and went,
oh my God,
ran the other way. Yeah. Me Leo, my second lad, he see me and was like, who's that? Yeah. Ran away. And I remember getting a lump in my throat thinking, fucking hell, like, this the stuff side what no one sees. But
I would have cried in the corner if I'd have had that. When you're in the corner then going, get out there and be a shit, I'd have cried. I'd have gone like, how brave am I?
You do have them like moments.
Do you ever want to cry in the ring? Did you ever go, I want to cry now?
The only time I've ever wanted to sort of cry is when you've dedicated yourself, give everything you've got, and it doesn't go your way and you lose. Like I lost for the world title in America, in Connecticut, and I felt like I'd prepared properly and I was ready to go, and then it just doesn't go how you thought. And he was a good fighter, by the way. He ended up being like a 3-week world champion. He was a really good fighter, but I was convinced that I'd beat him, and then it didn't happen, and I lost on points. And I thought I lost. Know what I mean? I don't know how I'd handle a bad decision. Like, I'd loads in the amateurs, know what I mean? I remember going boxing, fucking battering a German in Germany, and you just don't get the decision.
Well,
you just go blue corner, and you're like,
it's massively corrupt.
Crazy corrupt. Like, but such what I went on the wrong of any bad decisions in the pros. I always felt like, you know what, my losses are lost. I can live with that. But yeah, the one where me ripped off, I just like, I beat myself up in the ambulance. On the ambulance, I'm just thinking, how am I sitting in the ambulance with me hanging off? I've just had a boxing fight, know what I mean? I've had wins, I've had losses. This fella's buttered me in the ear and me is ripped off, and I'm in the ambulance, going to the hospital. Like, what the fuck's going on? No, like started then with the, why me? How's this happened to me? And then I was done at that point. Like, that's it, I'm retired.
Bisping's Eye's another one. Bisping's Eye, I always think back of that one. Like,
seen that,
he's such a hard case.
Yeah.
You know, when you were saying then about talking to yourself.
Yeah.
So, you know, in between the rounds and your coaches talking, how much influence have they actually got? Do
you know what?
Because there's that famous Leon Edwards. Have you seen the Leon Edwards one? Yeah. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like, how much really effect can they actually have?
Really can help you and win a fight for you. Like, there's times where you can see, when you're in there, you can see a lot, and you know, if you've got a good boxing brain, you can see what's happening, you can get a good feel for it, but they can see more on the floor. Like, there's things you don't see, you don't realise, and they'll say, look, he keeps moving to his right every time he pulls out, he's pulling out right, throw your left hook.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, next clinch, he pulls out, you throw your left hook, you land it, and you put him over, and you look at your corner, and you're like...
So you're almost like program, you don't know what's going to work, you're just going, I'm just going to do that.
Your coach's job is to watch your opposition and see what, like, everyone's got habits, everyone's got, like, traits, like, I always say in a fight, you end up on autopilot for a large part of the fight. How good your concentration levels plays off with how little you go on autopilot. When you just switch off, you watch, like when you watch a fight back, you remember bits. I remember this. Watch a catch him with a shot here, and then you're watching the fight like anyone else, and you don't know what's going to happen next, and then you see a bit, and you remember, oh, he gets rid of a good one here. I remember this, felt this one, and the next minute, bang, you get it. But you remember bits of the fight, but a lot of the rest of it is just autopilot, and it's like your autopilot, in my opinion, is what you're doing in the gym every day. So how you prepare will tell in the
we
fight.
hate watching ourselves do stand-up back. When you watch the fight back, do you like that or not?
I don't mind watching a fight back, but the minute it gets to the end and then the interview comes on, I turn it off. I'm like,
You don't like hearing yourself talk or something?
I hate my own voice, yeah.
Right.
I think everyone's the same. I don't think anyone likes watching the interviews. Like,
but you don't mind watching yourself in the
especially
ring?
there, because you're full of adrenaline. You've just won everything spades off, so you're just talking.
Saying all madness.
You know, you're saying then about your opponents having tells or having things to do wrong and stuff. Do you know your own things as well? Because I remember John Jones. So to go back to the UFC.
No.
Remember John Jones talking to Daniel Cormier, saying, "I know what you do, and I'm going to knock you out, and I know what you're going to do." And Cormier says to him, "You think I'm going to drop my head to the left? You think I always drop my head? You think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get caught with a kick?" And literally, in the fight happens, Cormier drops his head to the left, gets caught with a kick. And I said, because I remember thinking, going, he knows he's going to do it, but he knows he's going to do it as well, and he still does it. Sort of thing.
So you know, especially if you've got a good coach, because your coach will be in the gym daily with you going, stop dropping your left every time you throw your right, you know, whatever your mistake may be. And the hard thing about boxing is sometimes you know what the strength is, but you can't stop it all the time. You can negate it a little bit, and you can. Well, if I know you've got a good right hand, we box and we go 12 threes, you're still going to land right hands in the fight. It's just that I'm going to know, and I'm going to be looking for it, and I'm going to be avoiding a lot of them, but you're still going to, you can't avoid some things. Best example is...
But how do you negate your own weaknesses, though?
So you just got to work on it, make sure you don't do it, and there's ways of setting up where if you know you're doing a certain thing wrong, you try and like make your tactics to do something different to make sure you don't fall in the same trap. But a good example of that is... So Callum won the world title in Saudi Arabia against George Groves, and going into the fight, like George and his trainer was Shane McGuigan at the time, and they were like, "We know Callum's got a catch left hook. Callum's the best in the world at catch left hook. To be honest with you, when he throw right hand, he catches it and then hits them with a left hook before they get their hand back. He's unbelievable. His timing's amazing. How he does it. Gets stopped everywhere we go in the world. Well, like, and he goes to him, Callum, catch hook. They know how good he is at it. So at the press conference, George Groves and his trainer Shane Wigan are saying, you know, Callum, we know he's got a catch hook, we've got it covered. So we're laughing, thinking, what are you going to do then? Not throw a right hand all night? Because the minute you throw a right hand, he catches and he nails you with it. Callum goes into the world title fight, round 7, Groves throws a big right, Callum catch left hook, Groves' hands go everywhere, Callum moves in and finishes him, wins the world title. So again, you can know someone's strength and you can know a weakness of your own, but on the night, it's keeping it in there and not doing it for 36 minutes is a long time. You can't always do it.
When you're in the ring, are you quite level-headed? Because, like, or are you ever just, like, have you ever got, like, just over-emotional and just gone, oh, shit, I'm losing it here? Like, I'm just trying to kill him?
I feel like I was quite mentally strong as a fighter, and I think I'm the same now as a coach. I think I can keep a good head. I've got good experience like that. But I've seen it where fighters have lost the rag in the minute. It doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. I think you play into your opponent's hands.
You've never done that.
No, not really. I find it hard, like emotionally, watching my brothers more than anything else. I think I get more nervous watching my brothers than I do if I fight myself, and they all say the same. It's well harder watching.
I think your poor mother, mate.
Yeah, so she doesn't watch me. My mum goes and plays bingo.
Loads of like mothers and wives don't. Your wife doesn't watch you, does she?
No.
Used to watch.
She come. So Jade used to always come the venue, come the arena, or whatever. But if it was abroad, like when I fought in Vegas, and that she'd stay in the hotel room and just one of my brothers would ring when it was done. If it was like she comes to the arena, but the minute I'm on, she goes outside, and one of her mates will.
Your mum having 4, that's like
my
one
mum,
a week.
My mum didn't even go the venue, and my mum didn't go the country right away. She stays at home and she goes and plays bingo. It's just what time he is on, and if we say, look, our ring walks 10, she turns the phone off at 10 and she turns it back on. What time will it be done? And we say 10 to 11. She turns the phone on 10 to 11 and just read the message, won or lost.
Is that like you think nerves of what you might get hurt, or just she knows how much it means to your nerves? Sort of thing?
With her being a son's, is more worried about getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like she'd always say to us, like, "Good luck." She used to say, "Break a leg," and then, but she'd always be like, you know,
like the percentages, the odds of her having to get a horrible call are just 4 times anyone else, aren't they? So she's like, ugh.
Yeah, that's
once every 8 weeks with your son.
Yeah.
Was anyone else?
Why can't one of you work in B&Q and give a bit of peace of mind?
She always says, "My best day will be the day you're all retired," and she still says by it now. So when she's waiting for Liam and Callum now, once they're retired, she said that'll be my happiest day of your careers when you're all retired. She loves the life it's given. She loves the accolades we've all got, and she loves the fact that we've all dedicated our life to something. But she doesn't like the fights.
Yeah,
hate it.
Interesting.
No, yeah.
Is anyone in your family box besides from yous? But I mean, like to a standard sort of thing?
No. So before, my dad was always into boxing. He had a little go boxing as an amateur himself, but he was always like mad interested in it. Where like he used to get like the boxing news delivered every week and that. So we'd always have boxing on in the house, and like from the Rocky films, we used to always watch them. To like my dad'd be watching boxing fights and that, and we used to have videos in the house of like the Fabulous Four, which was like Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Thomas Haynes, Roberto Duran. So they were always on the telly. So we did grow up around boxing, and then where we lived in Kirkdale, we were literally over the road from the Rotunda boxing. Yeah. So we just went in there. Well, Paul went in, and I used to follow him, and I followed on, and then Callum went, then Liam.
Just a mad anomaly, innit? Like they're all 40.
The fact that we all got into it is mad, but it's a mad story. Like, I can say it now because I'm retired, but it is a mad story. The fact that there's only 4 of us, and the 4 of us all ends up fighting for world titles and then winning titles. That's where if there was like the 6, we've got 2 younger sisters, but I mean if the 6 of us were all lads and 4 ends up decent boxers, then you go, well, 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's only the 4 lads, and we all.
Any of you think you'd ever try MMA and be proper hard man?
I've always said,
I'd
love a fight. I'd love to get in and have a fight, but I'd probably need a boxing referee where they say break them into goals because I wouldn't know what to do. And like if someone takes me
Liam
down.
Sounds like he'd back himself
Liam
against
definitely
MMA
get in and have a go. If someone said, look, here's money, you go and fight him or whatever.
So with no training in MMA, he'd get in there with
I think
with someone.
To do a bit of a
takedown defense.
Takedown defense, if you knew how to stop them takedowns a little bit, then you'd probably have a chance.
I imagine the leg kicks, because in boxing, the stance for boxing,
the leg kicks,
you're just going to have your front leg just going to obliterate it.
Weirdly enough, I was like talking today in the gym. So Caelan Lawrence brought on the last shows in, and he's in the 4 corners, and he was doing pads today, and I was laughing with him, saying like, you wouldn't know he didn't box. He's a decent boxer. When he's in the ring, he's hitting the pads and that. Right. But I'm like, you've got to know how to defend and kick. And he's like, I know. He was laughing, saying that I'd be fine if in a fight we both stand there. You look at each other's eyes. But I'm looking at your shoulders, I'm looking at your arms. Your peripheral vision's good for fighters because you make any reaction, you know you've got to move and that. But I wouldn't even see a kick coming till it hit me. You know what I mean? I was like, I wouldn't react to them. You find MMA fighters' gaze goes a bit lower, so they're like,
their stance is lower.
So they're looking here because they've got to see the feet. You've got to see when the leg kicks are coming and the takedown attempts and that. So we're not even registering that. We know where you're moving, but I'm looking for your arms and shoulders because I want to know when they're all going to hit me. So I'm only concentrating really on them. But I don't think I'd even be aware of leg kicks.
But you wouldn't even try. You'd not about your grips. You going, I'm going to try and learn
no,
that. Then
not now because I'm 39. But if it came about a bit, if it was the way it was now when I was starting off, I'd definitely have a go. I'd definitely have a go. I'm not into it enough to say I would. I love boxing. You know what I mean? I'd still have boxed, but I definitely have had a go going in the gym, one of my mates, because I'm sure I'd have had mates who done it then. When I was a kid, Terry Hatton was my mate, and Terry was the first to any of us knew of doing this MMA and UFC and that. Like, I'd never even heard of it before Terry. Yeah. And Terry was at a good level. So if I was sort of like, he was the only one I knew done it, and then I started knowing Darren and stuff like that. But I wasn't ever the biggest fan of it. But if when I was younger it was as big as it is now, then I don't know.
Do you think more kids who are like, 12, 13, 14 are now going towards MMA?
I was about to ask that, if you notice a difference in popularity sort of things. Like
a lot of that. So where I'm based in Four Corners, as we said, they've got an MMA gym underneath. It's massive, it's a great facility. And I didn't know how many kids done it until I popped down the changing rooms, you go down and right, and where you look on the left, the map was just full of kids, and I was like, wow, I didn't realise how many kids do it until I've been around it. Know what I mean? Again, I'm not being in any
especially with Paddy now in Liverpool. Even
so it's becoming more popular, but also the same effect as boxing. Some parents are putting the kids in it thinking, well, I want my kids to look after themselves, I don't want my kid getting bullied and that sort of thing. And if you can do MMA, or she can do, loads of girls as well, if they can do that and look after themselves, then I feel a bit better knowing they're going to school.
Even if it's not just MMA, it's jiu-jitsu, there's less head injuries, a CC,
definitely,
CCE sort of thing.
Yeah.
You're looking at going, well, you know what? They can control themselves. They can control it. I remember I was saying, they reckon wrestling's the peak for combat sports, not for finishing. No, you'll never finish.
Yeah.
But wrestling, you'll always control where the fight goes, sort of thing. So I reckon that's the best for self-defense.
You notice that way. Again, my level of understanding of it, but you notice that way with MMA. And I love the fact that we touched on before, you have some good strikers, you have some really good with the jits and stuff, but you have good wrestlers where I think they're an handful all the time when they get
well, the wrestlers are a bit like Floyd. You know the way Floyd's like, everything goes to points almost. The wrestlers like that, they're frustrating to watch because they'll always control the fight. But half of them can't finish a fight, so that half of them don't end up being popular. Or
but I don't know whether it was down to how good his wrestling was. But I seen that fight recently with Leon, and that fella just kept getting over.
Just wrestling.
Wrestling was unreal, wasn't it? And again,
because Leon's got good jits as well, but
Leon's a good fighter. Like,
just couldn't
get
the
title, but he just couldn't keep him off him, could he? He was just stuck to him. And when he got over him, that was it. He couldn't get him off him. His wrestling was so
even
good.
in MMA, like some people train jits, but you just train finishing. Because that's all they're asked. They'll just train
get him out
of it, get him out sort of thing, rather than like actually controlling the weight, controlling the body and all that.
So you do have that with the boxing, where you do have, like, stylistically people set up different, where you've got the orthodox southpaw, you have boxers, you have movers, you have fighters, you have people who just want to put their head on your chest and want to get as close as they can. So you can set up for it, and you've got to look at it out to basically, a lot of people just go in and go, well, you just do what you're good at. A lot of coaches will set you up to counter that what they're good at, and don't let them do that. But the amount of I always say about now, again, with being coaching, preparing fighters for the fights, and you've got to get the fitness levels really good, but you can't let them overtrain. You've got to tactically prepare them for their opposition, but some of them won't watch them. Some of them like to watch them with you and go, look, see when he does that? Got to stop that. Some of them go, no, you watch it and you tell me. It's different with how the fighters are. But I find it fascinating, and I've spoke to a few MMA fighters over this, where they've said, like, I know when my fighters get into the peak, and I know when to say, go and have a day off, go and rest, and I won't ever let any fighter overtrain. I've done it in the past, and it's horrible. So I keep them so they're at a good level. So it's my job to make sure they peak at the right time. I would say with MMA, how would you keep an eye on that? Because you're doing striking, then you're doing like wrestling, then you do, know what I mean? And you're doing your sparring and that. Like, you've got that many different things to cover.
Imagine like
must be hard to keep on top of it, don't know.
Imagine like footy with like the wrestling, they're doing the blood work and all stuff like that. They must know when the body just needs to.
That's what I mean. They must have a lot of sports science, but they've got a lot to cover, and that's one thing I do think with MMA. To be fair, so you've got to give them the credit, the dedication side of it, because they've still got to make weight and stuff. They've still got to do the cuts at the end, but they've got to make sure they cover the fitness. They've got to make sure that they've got nothing like that wrestling and the jiu and stuff, but they've also got to make sure they're striking well enough, and then they've got their own main coach, so they're tactically prepared for the fight, so they know they're not going to make mistakes and do what their opponent's good at.
Do you ever get anyone who comes into the gym that you go, oh, he's like, say I went into the gym, right? I go into four corners. What happens when I go in? I just turn up, like, just walk in.
Yeah, so no, because it's a pro gym, only the pros go in of a morning, so you'd know, obviously, you're not a pro fighter, you don't really go in.
Right, so I've got nothing to do in the days, so I can go in the morning with the pros
in the night,
if you want.
It's an amateur club. You can walk in an amateur boxing club and say, I want to start fighting, and it's up to the coach to basically get you going and put you in a session, but you wouldn't get through in the ring right away. No.
So
club.
I walk in and I go. I turn up 10 a.m. on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I go, can I train here now? And then they go, no, the pros are doing it or something.
Yeah,
or what?
no.
I get sent away.
Pros. Yeah, you just
Right. Okay. So when does the amateurs get to walk? When do I get to walk?
Yeah, usually evenings, like 5 o'clock.
And it's just like, is it like, I imagine, is it like circuit training or something, or what do you do?
Start basically a proper amateur club. Yeah, you always have to, you do have like circuit, like public sessions on there, but for like boxers, to learn boxing, you go in there and they'll teach you basically all the technique side of it, like how to stand, what shots to throw, and then how to move. And then once you can master that and get better at that, then you start doing all your...
So I go in, first session is just doing like conditioning or something. It's not doing pads or anything.
Yeah, just all technical stuff, how to stand, how to punch, make sure you can do things properly first before you get through it.
No, I just wanted to... I'd never go in because I'd go, oh, fuck that. It'll just be... some knobhead will spar with me and I'll get fucking lit up.
People think that you get a perception of boxing where you think, go in a boxing gym, you just get through in. You know what I mean? And you don't, like, no decent boxing club should just tell you
what's that?
Teach you how to...
What's that film? Put him in the ring, Joe, let me have a shot.
Yeah.
Was that Bugsy Malone, is it?
Yeah.
But you know, you go there and you go like, what do you do? Like, I've never hit pads or anything. So do you just, because I'd feel like I'm wasting your time now. Because I go in and I go like, I'm never going to fight. I never want to box, ever. I don't want to box anyone. But I'd like to
PTs,
know how to do it.
Go into a gym and do PTs, and there's coaches, loads of PTs, and they say, you just teach you how to hold your hands, how to box, and how to let your hands go, and it's a pad, and it feels good. It's good for fitness.
Yeah, but I don't believe them ones. They're like fake.
But Maro used to go with boxers.
Yeah.
Like people who like either amateur boxers or semi-pro boxers, like
what, just in a pure gym?
No, Maro used to go to Four Corners.
Yeah.
30 quid for the hour.
Yeah.
And he'd just do pads, and he'd just be teaching me that he'd help him with his footwork.
He can box then.
So they know they can box, so they know how to stand.
But you can probably pay someone and go, listen, I've never done nothing, but 30 quid an hour, you teach me to box.
That's what I mean. So you've never done nothing. You don't have to be perfect and like you've got to be, England schoolboy level. You're just going to basically know how to hold your hands. You know that's how you throw that one, and you throw that one, you throw your hooks. They just teach you the basics of how to box while you're hitting pads. And then the fitness element of it, I think boxing training is the best training you can do for fitness-wise. I just think like cardiovascular, strength, everything. I think it covers everything, and you find top level boxers are really.
How
really
quickly could you make me into somebody that could light up, say, 50% of men?
You know what? It's hard because
how quick can you get him able to fight?
How quick can I light him up?
I find again with learning to box, it's how long's a piece of string. You've got to know the person. You just see how they are.
You listened about Paul and Freddie.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah.
So Paul's you like say used to go to Four Corners, and he's got a comedian in with him. Yeah. And
shout out Freddie now. He's looking trim and slim now.
Well. At the time,
he light someone up.
Since then, he's had Legionnaires disease and lost 4 stone, and now he's took the opportunity to start saying, "But before then, fat cunt." Used to go in, but he was adamant to Paul he could punch and all that. So Paul took him with him on doing the pads and all that. And the idea was he'd already spoke to the guy. I don't know who the coach at the time. He spoke to him and said, "Yeah, go on, I'll let you have a little spar afterwards, something like a little play thing." And he'd done the pads, and the coach went, "You're not sparring with him." I couldn't do it. He's
GBH.
He's so bad. He's like his punches are so weak. He's so unfit, and he so can't punch that I couldn't possibly let you go in there with him.
Saves him then, you know what I mean?
It's just like
he saved him.
But do you ever look at someone that you've done pads to them and gone like, "Oh, he should be able to put," and they go, "Fucking hell, he's weak." Him. Like, he looks big, but he goes, "Jesus."
You can have like proper muscular fellas and he can't throw a punch.
Why is that? Is that
technique? It's like
it comes from the I know.
Same on the flip side, by the way. I've some skinny little farts, you know what I mean? And then they throw punches, and you're like, wow, how can you hit that hard? Like some of them are freaky punches, do you know what I mean?
Is that just that's just a natural thing? That's just
technique, it's technique, and some people are just blessed with punch power. Some people they say you're born with it, you know what I mean? They can just punch.
Just like speed in a way.
Some like freaky punches, but there's some, again, as you say, you can see big strong fellas and they can't throw a punch. No.
Why? Just because they're just
slow? Technique wise, yeah, the speed's not there and they just don't set up properly, they just don't throw the punches properly. I've seen loads. I see with videos sometimes you see like things happening with Dorman and that, and some of them like swinging, you think, whoa, you can't punch there, but
When I was in the, I used to watch. You know when people say you pass a footy and you admire your pass.
Yeah.
I used to punch someone. And I'd leave me hand there and be looking at it like that.
It's all like that.
It's like, I was like, he used to tell me stories. Like, honestly, that's, I say stuff like that. I'd have to go, this way it's not for me. And he's hit me 4 times. I'm like, that going.
I find it now with coaching. I go like, look, when you land a shot, hold it out so I can show you where you're at. But then when they do it, they go, boom, and the technique's perfect. I'm like, that wasn't like that before. I'm trying to show them when they punch like that. And I'm like, when you punch, hold it out, and then they go, boom. And I'm like, you never do it like that.
Well, I spoke to someone who said that the boxing stance was quite uncomfortable. He said it felt twisted.
Yeah, no, if it's new, because you're supposed to technically sit your weight back on your back leg, distance with your opponent, and then you load your back leg to them.
I couldn't slide, mate. I used to get told off for both feet being off the floor.
Yeah, so do you know what? It's happening over your throw shot put. If you've got your back leg, but you launch you, that's supposed to be like the same mechanisms to throw your backhand. You get power in it. And it's from the floor. Your power comes from the floor. So if your technique's proper and your feet are underneath you, you can punch properly. If your feet are off the floor, you can't really generate any power. Yeah, because or if you're in line, they say if you're on a tightrope, they say your balance is not there, so you can't generate power in your punches.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing about moving like a boxer is the idea. It's the feet go like that, don't they?
Yeah.
So I think when you're an amateur, your feet are always all over the place.
Yeah, you shouldn't never.
And that's tricky to get your head around.
Because again, if you stand upright, if I stood up now and put my feet together, I could never throw a punch to hurt anyone. And the same way as you said, and if you're on a tightrope, your feet are in line. You're basically balancing a tightrope. You'll have no balance. You won't be able to punch hard. Your feet have got to be in the right place. And again, the low.
Yes, like when you step back, a regular person would like just take a step, and then the feet are all fucked up. Yeah, you sort of like bounce back.
You know,
don't
there's
you?
ways of moving, so you know when your feet are in the stance to move back. You always move your back foot first. Front, you move your front foot first.
Yeah, which is not that's not natural, is it?
You end up with a wide base at times, but you never end up them together. So you're moving right, your right foot moves first, your left foot moves first. There's ways of moving, so your feet never come together.
Is that why?
And they should never cross.
Why people say sometimes boxers are looking at feet as well.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'd be looking, not just the hips and that, you'd be looking at someone's feet for where they're going.
The way obviously you're looking at feet is when you have not the southpaw orthodox. So when you have like two of the same stance, you sort of slot together nicely and you're both going for different parts. When you have a southpaw orthodox, your front feet are together and you're kicking each other's feet all the time. So you're fine, you're trying to get your foot outside theirs and you're battling for position all the time as well as avoiding the punches. Yeah. That's when it becomes a lot more technical, a lot more like a chess match. When it's the southpaw orthodox, there's a lot more tactical involved, whereas if it's just two.
So how quickly could you see someone in the street, they go, he can do something? Like, how quickly can you identify?
You mean like when you play football, you can tell by someone's touch?
Yeah. It's sort of like that. Like, you go like, this guy's going to he's going to bang in because he's set up wrong.
If you see someone right away and like, you go, what? And then like, you think, oh yeah, he can hold switch on a bit. You think he can hold the stance here.
Right.
Do you go like, what's that? Come on, mate, don't hear. I'll be like, go on.
Right, so you can tell within like half a second you're going,
when you know when someone throw a punch, you can see, you know
what you're looking at.
Again, they say with football then, you watch me kick a ball, you probably laugh and go,
you got no talent at all.
Obviously, I was fit, I could run, know what I mean? That's all me. I used to play on the right, just be up and down, but I stopped at about 14.
All I had was me touch.
Right. Wasn't never blessed with football. I mean,
so how would you disguise if you're going to hit someone, but you don't want them to know? Are you just like, and then you just bang?
I always think now for the fighters when I send them out, I always say, look,
I'm talking about street now.
Yeah, but
sucker punching people. Because you know when you can see he's come from there. You go,
so I say to the fighters, it's the same thing on the street. The best thing about fighting and sort of if we're fighting each other, the best thing for me is if you don't know what I'm going to throw and basically you don't know when I'm going to throw it.
Yeah.
So it's the same in a fight. When you stand there, if I go like pull me left back to throw me left out, they're going to make me miss and nail me every time. If it's same me right, if I go like this and then go like this, I'm never ever going to land. So you've got to disguise your shots better so they don't know what's coming. And then basically, if you can not load shots up so they don't know when it's coming, then I've got a way better chance at landing. So that'd be the same in the street. I wouldn't like walk across and go, right, you're getting it. So it'd be that make sure it's disguised. And again, a massive thing in boxing is feinting. So you basically go to throw one place and you hit another place. So I'd always just dip my knees to look at your stomach and then just go.
I saw something about this. I can't remember his name. He's a Hollywood actor that can fight. Like I don't know what his name is. I can't remember now. But like he was there and he was doing it. Have you seen them things where they go like do this, and they go, you can't hit me, can't hit. But then he does it a different way, and it looks like he's not done anything, but he's gone, I've hit your hand now.
Yeah.
Like, what's that?
So that's the thing where, again, they go on, punch me hand, and every time the fella goes like that, he moves it, and he's going, and he goes, watch, and every time he loads up, he moves his hand.
Right.
He goes like that, dead slow, and touches his hand, and because he doesn't, there's no reaction, he just went like that and touched his hand, and he went, how come I got it then when I went slower? And he was like, I didn't react, because there was no sort of, no way, or like flinching. If I went up to your face, went like that, you automatically do that. You don't like think, oh shit, move out the way. You just instinctively move. But if I just like slow just went like that, you'd probably find it itchy. It's just getting a read on people.
Right. I don't want to keep you too long, but I want to just go through one more thing.
Yeah.
Which is, how would you get from being, you're in the gym, you're boxing, to like you winning a few fights to knowing you can make a living from it? And like, how do you go from like because I'm always fascinated by how people end up like becoming pro at what, because with us, you go open mic nights and eventually you realise, oh, I'm the best here. Yeah. And you just like, and then a promoter will go, like someone will go, come and do this gig and come and do that gig, and you eventually see people just willing to give you more and more money sort of thing to do it. But like it's just sort of that journey, whereas in like obviously in footy you're at a club and stuff like that. Whereas,
so you go into an amateur boxing club, you start like everyone, you have good nights, bad nights, you have good spars, bad spars, and that happens right through your pros. Like I've got pro fighters now, really good fighters, and they'll have some bad days, they'll have bad spars, get out and oh shit today. That happens. You just got the best know to put it behind them and put it better. But so you go when you start, and then you start having bouts. You see your mates, you coming to watch it in club shows. Remember, like,
and is that just one club against another club?
Yeah, you just basically your club.
So like,
has like a bit of a, now it's easy because it's database.
Like the fridge speeder or something sort of thing.
Yeah. So if they've got a kid and I was 11, I mean, like whatever. We've got a kid here. He's 5 stone or whatever. You've got a kid there. We match them up. Yeah, go ahead. So he goes. I had my first fight in the Fair and Feathers, the Canny Farm show. Goes up, box a kid from Berry, beats him. Like, I've won.
Yeah.
How old are you? 11.
11. 1-0 buzzing and that, know what I mean? Like, made up. Then fights. You start going to club shows, and then you go in the national championships. So I enter the championships.
And what, can you just enter yourself into them, can you? Or you got to be invited?
In them. So the schoolboy championships, so your club can enter. You can enter who you want in. So
anyone can enter the club.
Everyone enters. The club enters everyone in them. So you all go along. You all weigh in. So I weighs in my first year in the schoolboy championships, and I won them. I won the nationals. Ended up winning the finals. Down in Barnsley against the kid from West Ham. So I remember going home and just looking at. Used to get it was like a badge, a Union Jack, to get sewn onto your shirt. Just meant like you're champion. Or you didn't get belts. You got badges. So I remember like looking at lying in bed. First thing I woke up in the morning, I was like, "Wow, I'm national champion!" Like, I don't know how this happened. And then getting letters, you say sent a letter, got a letter like you're being picked to represent England, the box for England against Ireland first, and then I got box for England in Moscow in Russia. So
and what did they send scouts to see you, or just because you'd won the championship?
They see you at the championships. The selectors see you at the championships, and they pick a team from the people who won them. So again, I was national champion, and then I'm like 13, and I'm in Moscow boxing for England against Russia, and I'm thinking like, this is quite like serious. I've got England vests on now. I'm like.
So when you were 13, is anyone coming in for you then? Like, is any promoters and that?
No.
Do you have any
No, but it's just like you're boxing for your country. So England schoolboys, and then I said I carried on. I won more titles, and then
do you get sponsors or anything like that at 13?
Yeah, so when it started getting a bit older, I started getting little sponsors. Like it was more like clothing things and that. And I got like boxing for under 17s, and then I went to like the under 19 team, and then I got picked for the proper England team, where it was like I was on GB, I was on like funding, and that's how I was getting lottery funding, and so it was my job. It was on like England lottery funding, and I was going to like multinations all the time. So now I'm like, once I turned 18, I was on the proper team. So I got picked for the.
So how old when you get the lottery funding? Sorry,
my funding starts on like under 17s. You're getting like money, but it's like money every 3 months. It's like a grant thing to get you to and from trainers.
If you're a 17-year-old that hasn't made them champions or isn't on the championships, you just
not sure. You probably have to start like working and stuff, and that's when it becomes out when you work. And again, I did work after school. I got a job for the tax office. So I was working in the tax office and then going to the gym.
Yeah.
And then I say once I got to like 18, I got picked for the national team. Then I got proper lottery funding. So I was on like, I don't know, you're on a couple of grand a month or something, but it's like tax free, getting paid to go and basically train in Sheffield every week. I was there every Monday to Thursday, come home. And
So
then
they
same
send you
weekends.
to a certain gym then, do they?
So you're based there, you're based at Sheffield. So I used to
Right.
go to Sheffield Monday morning, we'd be up. You get you up at 7 every morning, you go running, come back, have your breakfast, then you'd be in the gym at 10, do your S&C after it. Then you'd have your dinner, then you'd be in the gym at 3 sparring, and then you'd do like an evening run if you if you need to lose weight, and then you'd go again. You train like 5 times a day.
Do you move to Sheffield?
All the time. Still like live there, but like,
Or through the week?
They put you up, and then I come home all the time for weekends. So then I got picked for the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne, just turned 20, and then I went to Commonwealth Games in Melbourne.
So when you were saying then you got picked, could you be training at Sheffield and not get picked for it?
You still could, because there's still championships and there's still kids that can beat you and take your spot. You can get let go at any
The lad
time.
by mine who used to... Do you know anyone called Ben Callahan?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
He used... Yeah, I just remembered he used to box.
Yeah.
By mine.
My mate got close, I think got close to the Sheffield thing, but didn't end up getting it. David Robinson.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Robbo.
Yeah, it's getting on it. I say it is tough, and they have like one of the weights. Sometimes they'll have 2 kids on, but more often than not, just one kid at every weight. And then I say I went to Commonwealth Games, and I won a gold in the Commonwealth Games, and from then I thought, this is me now. I can go pro. I can get a good contract to go pro, and I knew that.
It's mad that even to the Commonwealth Games, you didn't know whether you're going to be pro or not, sort of thing.
No, I always thought once I got to a good level, I won a good few titles, won like 8 national titles. So I thought I'm going to go pro. But when I won the Commonwealth Games, I knew then I'd get looked after going pro. I knew I could go to all the promotions and they'd all want to sign me. So comes back, goes, and then does me meet to turn pro. And because I'd say I had a Commonwealth Games gold medal, I was like getting offered like sign on fees and stuff to turn pro. So I knew it'd be at a decent level. And then once you go pro, it's sort of like it's your job. You got to give it everything, but you know in the back of your mind, it's not forever, because you know in your 30s you're going to be retired. You know what I mean? But you sort of you don't see it coming down and going as quick as it does. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
even
life,
then,
What's the mindset of the journeyman then? Who ends up them?
So
once you are as good, so you can go pro. And you don't have to be like, it's not like, it's hard to explain, because in football, I'd love to be play pro footballer and pulling that, but
with football, you sort of like you know the league, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, all right. Well, I've been. If you're in Liverpool, you know you got a chance, and then if you get to a you're like, all right, well, I can go to a semi-pro team, and if I keep performing,
that's what I mean. So with them, you scouts are picking you up and selecting you. Whereas there's a route to go pro, to go and get a pro license and be a pro fighter, but be the away corner, be the journeyman type of thing.
What's their mindset? Just go and get leathered every fucking week?
Just look after themselves, just try and not get hurt, because I can't.
Would you have ever done that? If you did not made it, you'd have gone, no, fuck that.
No, I just, not now, especially as educated. When I was younger, I'd probably have gone, yeah, go ahead, pay me.
But now, because of all the...
It wouldn't have bothered, because the macho side, your ego kicks in, and you're like, I'll fight him, no problem. But now looking back, I would never advise him, just because of like
CTA, you know.
Yeah, CTA, what it does to you, the boxing does take its toll. And I've got good friends now who finish boxing, and they're not the best. Like, you can tell they're slaying the words and stuff, and their eyes are going on that, and it's not nice. So, you know what I mean?
I just can't imagine ever going, I'll be a jet. Like, you know that Sam Arnold when Ricky Hatton literally said he was smoking, drinking. He went, can you get to MAN within the next half an hour? And he on the back.
It was 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he literally...
You got a phone call saying 2 weeks will you do a fight. He'd retired, and he was like, fucking, and he went, I will give you, like...
Who was this?
It was I forgot
Ricky Hatton's first pro
fight.
I think it might have been Peter Buckley. Buckley had like 300 fights.
The punches kept him up, he said.
He's our mate. He's
just unbelievable.
He's our mate's mate.
One of the most famous like journeyman.
Is he?
And he just like a cause and go and fight that night in LA.
Well, that's what he did. He got 2 weeks notice, go and fight this. No idea who's fighting. Got there and he said, I'm in a sports hall, but there's you're expecting about fucking 100 people, hundreds of people here. And the next thing fucking, he said, I'm fighting this young kid, and he said, literally, I'm trying to go down, but the cunt's keeping me up with his punches. He said, I'm trying to go down. And then he said, he went to Ricky Hatton fight, didn't he? Like 5 years later or so.
Yeah.
Just as a punter.
Yeah.
And he walked past either Ricky's dad or an old coach or something.
Yeah.
And he said, fucking, what are you doing? He's like, I'll just come to watch. Fucking get ahead. Yeah. So come backstage and all
that. Yeah, it's good, it's a good story. But I think, listen, every respect for them and every credit to them. I've got a lot more respect for them now, being around the sport a long time, and I know what it is. But
it just seems like an insane way to like
do.
you're getting set up to go with someone that you know is going to be like, what are you doing?
Just getting in to look after themselves and trying to not take anything too clean and take too much punishment, I suppose. But at the end of the day, it's like they are saying, if you go in the ring, you're going to get wet. You don't go in the ring and not get it. Like, I've had some great performances. I always got it.
But you've got.
Is that just people just wanting to make a living? Because like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, I think that is sadly, like, they just got nothing else to do, no other way of making
Yeah.
and they know if I keep doing that, I'm getting a couple of grand every time. I can get a couple of fights a month.
Well, that's what I mean, because I don't know if it was that Peter Buckley, but he was saying, like, he'd only ever got 2 grand. He said, I'll give you 5 grand for this one. So like,
when the short notice and the better opposition, you know, more often than not, they're going to go, I'm not fighting him this weekend. You're mad, aren't you? Then you know they can go, well, you need an opponent for him. You know, he sold shed loads of tickets, mate. Ricky Hatton, that's one thing, but you always have the following. So they know if he hasn't got an opponent, they know this show's falling through because all the tickets are in.
Yeah.
They turn around and go, Ricky's not fighting, then everyone's going to go, give me money back.
Yeah.
So they know they need to save this show, so he knows he can go, how much?
Yeah, give me
One more.
Yeah.
But then they're also going to get one. They go, we know Ricky's going to win.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. You know,
if you're a fan of it, you're not asked, are you?
Yeah, no, in that
I
generation,
just think it's a mad.
there was too
way.
much of it where it was stacked in the home fighters' favour. I do think now boxing's got a lot better for it, where you see fights now and they're not all gimmies. Some of them are good fights.
To be honest, we can have that with comedy where you get sent up to do a gig. You know, you're there to kill 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The gig's
Like
they're all going to the bar.
And you're like,
Yeah.
these don't, like, you go and do something, it's like, these don't even know I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
These, like, they're at corporate events. They don't even know there's going to be anyone here that they got to pay, and they don't want to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, you say, you just go and just go up.
See, that
I'm
must
feeling
be hard
time.
again. It's the same thing, and you're looking, you're thinking,
I think it's just the CT. That's the only thing in it. It's now the science has come out. They're going like, there must be less journeyman now though.
yeah, I do.
Now
I
it's
think-
all
I
come
think
out.
The game's changing in that way. Where again, there used to be a lot of prospect journeyman. I do think now there's a lot more now. You're seeing prospects fighting each other. You're seeing better fights on the undercard now rather than just all the stack sides. Still, of course, there's still the learning side of it. Like if I had a kid turn a pro and on his first fight, he said, "Yeah, you're fighting blah blah. He's won 10 and lost 1." I'd go, "Whoa, he's not a chance."
Right.
So when you start off, you fight someone who's basically more often than not lost a bit more than they've won. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So sorry, just last thing then. You know the union setting up.
yeah.
So is that for, like you say, for fighters coming out to, like, what's that for? So
It's
then
about.
what's the
It's
idea
more so
behind it?
like just to give fighters a bit more pull, where you're not getting sort of walked into contracts where you basically a promoter goes, "Here, there's a 5-fight deal," and you go, "Go ahead, I'll get a 5-fight deal." We won't say no names, but blah blah blah. And then you get your 1 fight, and you're sitting around, you're in the gym all the time. Like, when am I fighting? And then you end up getting another one. So you had 2 this year. The next year you get you maybe another 2, but still not fighting once every 6 months. And you're sitting around waiting again, and it's not like if they go, look, you got 5 fights in a 12-month contract, then that's brilliant.
Because they not have time
No,
limits.
so there's contracts where there's no
UFC
time
do on
limits on.
this. UFC have 2 fights per
It
year.
is on boxing ones, but again, there's some way. That's what I'm saying. It used to happen when I was saying no, where I got given a 5-fight deal. There's no time frame on it, so I was like, that's not like, you know what I mean?
It's career and the career.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
You had no one to run that contract by.
No,
You
that's
just
what I'm
went and
saying.
signed. I'll sign
again,
that.
not just like me personally, but I'm saying in general, if a fighter goes in and you go, look, that's just an example. Like here's a deal, but you're only getting this much money. If you start winning fights, we'll give you more, and it's not right. Then at least the union can go, look, that's not on. Like, he needs this, or if you give him a 5-fight deal, it's got to be within, let's say, 18 months. And if you don't get him in 18 months, then you've got to agree to pay him, because he's in the gym. Unless he's injured, then he deserves to fight. So there's just a bit more pull for the fighters to make sure that they don't have anything sort of go against them where they feel powerless because they've not got
giving the fighters somewhere to go to, sort of thing.
You can't really just go like, if you're a fighter and, you know, bless you, I'm going to got much money, you're not going to be able to go and take these big promoters to court or anything because they buy and sell you. Do you know what I mean?
Also, there's not much. Once you got to pay it. Have you got to pay everyone out of that as well? So there's there's fuck all for you anyway, isn't there?
So it's just not right where this way now you'll have a bit more pull and just make sure things happen. And again, we hope to get something in place for life after boxing. So we've got a little bit of something, a little bit of help, a little bit of fallback where, you know, there's money in the pot where if all the fighters or all the ticket sales, you know, a small percentage of it went towards a union or an association for fighters, then just be a bit of help for people after the sport, rather than just feeling like, people wash their hands here.
It's like money to like retrain or take them what
help
industries
people
you can go into.
if you can put them into some kind of training for another job, to get a qualification, to get anything to help them.
I just had a flashback to when it's completely off topic when your brother called someone out for wrapping their hands wrong. Was that your brother?
Yeah, so
that was good.
Again, so that's more stuff like that again.
A lot of pressure on, and he was watching them wrap the gloves.
JJ Metcalf was fighting.
Yeah.
He was in Spain, fighting a Spanish kid.
Yeah.
And I think it was in Spain, and Liam was there.
And he wrapped the hands or something.
You go in title fight, in title fights, one of our team goes into theirs and one of theirs comes into ours. They watch the hands, just to make sure it's proper. But again, like Liam knows the game inside out. We all know boxing. We've been on all our life. We know all the rules. And we know what you can and can't do. So you can put as much bandage on your hands as you want. You can bandage and bandage and bandage. And then you can put as much tape on it as you want. You can't put tape, then bandage, then tape. That's called stacking. That's like creating a cast, mate, which is going to hurt someone.
Yeah.
So when you do that, you put tape down, then you put bandage on it, then you put tape again, and you put bandage again. That's stacking.
Once it gets wet.
That's making it hard. So this fella bandages tapes and starts bandaging again, and Liam went, "Whoa, what are you doing?" He went, "Well, I've done this before, blah, blah, blah." I'm taking it, and Liam went, "You're not doing that. You can't do it. Go and get an official, you can't do it." And he was like, "Yes, I do this. I always do this. Bandage tape. And he went, "Get the official," and he went, "Wait." The fella comes in and he goes, he's trying to stack bandage tape. He went, "No, you can't do that." And he went, "I always do this." You can't do it. And he got stopped from doing it, know what I mean? And then lo and behold, goes in and JJ beat him. Do you know what I mean? He'd been knocking everyone out and then JJ beat him, whether it was down to that or whatever. But
it was good though, because there was a load of people gathered round. You could see that they were all trying to pressure him, like, you're wrong, but he wasn't having it.
But Liam's just bullish. Liam was standing his ground going, "I know I'm right. That's not happening."
He wasn't having it, and he waited, and then he come and he went, "No." It was a good video. I enjoyed that one.
He could have easily went, "Okay, sound." And then
surely that would have pulled all that. Is that the guy who'd done the rapping? Then that would take into all the previous fights.
That's
It'd have to get looked at.
To make sure doesn't happen going forward, because again, you'd only really go in and watch them on title fights.
Do you?
Yeah, so how many fights?
So how many's happening on the undercards? Like, what's happening with these kids getting their hands wrapped in the undercards? We could make sure at least there's enough officials to be in the changing room, so when people get their hands wrapped, to make sure everyone's doing it properly.
We discussed that story before, didn't we? About the guy who put metal in his hands and he got he plaster of Paris or something, didn't he? 2.5 years he got sent down for. Because he had a fight and he broke this guy's face, battered, and the gloves were like cement, and he got 2.5 years.
This fella, ginger fella, Billy, and he got beat up bad, and when the fight finished, and the corner went like that, and he went, and the fella, "Whoa!" He seen him right away, like, get away, and he ends up, he had things in his gloves, like, casted, pulled all the padding out of the gloves. But again, there's a lot now where there's officials now where it's a lot more, professional and that now. You wouldn't get away with the stuff they did years ago, but I remember years ago, like, my elder brother Paul turned professional, and on the undercard he just had like bags of worn used gloves, and he got given these gloves, Reyes gloves he was, and the opponent has the same gloves, so the opponent got the other pair, and next minute a Russian fella it was, and he come in and he went, "Sorry, we're not wearing these gloves." So we were like, "Why?" And he went, "There's no padding, feel. I can't wear them, my hands sore." So Paul was like, "I'll wear them." So Paul's put them on and gave him the other ones, the padding in, know what I mean? He went out and knocked the fella out. He was like, "Not in the gloves." But that was what it was like years ago on the undercards. You just wore whatever gloves were there, type of thing. Whereas now, it's a lot more professional now, and the boxing board are on it with a lot of things and making things right. But there's still a lot that can be made better, and that's what we're just open as a union here now to start making things better, make it even more professional, and make it a safer sport at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? That's what
it is a dangerous one, isn't it?
Yeah, earn your money and then get on.
Like I say, it's one of them mad sports where it's like, I can't, like comedy sort of thing, I can't believe just how wide open it is sort of thing. And like, there's no sort of like...
It's hard to get your head around it in a lot of ways. When even me as a former fighter, I look at it and I think there's things now where everyone's quick to jump on the bandwagon and everyone's sensitive over stuff. But if you're trying to stop kids heading to football until they're 14, have you seen all these they're trying to do?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
How are you saying a kid can't head to football, but then can go to a boxing gym and not fucking average. Do you know what I mean? It's
Well, they're
not
trying to
gonna
stop headers in.
Sounds like that.
Under
It sounds like
14s.
kids from
Under
Ed,
14s,
yeah.
that's it.
What,
Something
no
like
head
that.
height or something?
I don't
Just
know.
no head.
Can't head it.
Like Edden's the same as handball.
So I've heard, don't he? So yeah. So if you
That's
get
what-
the
that's
ball,
one
it's
thing,
foul.
yeah.
So what happens with a long ball then? You just got to stand and...
Move out of the way of
You
it.
just
Yeah.
judge it, don't you?
Move out of the way
Rather
of
than
it.
going for the
volley
header,
it.
you go backwards.
Yeah.
Just control it or something.
So that's
I
what
mean,
they
I've headed a
decided,
few ones
mate.
coming from a height.
Yeah. Of
course.
Fuck me, it hurts.
But I was looking at thinking, if this rule gets passed and kids can't have the ball, then boxing's got a lifespan. Know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you can't expect you then to be able to go to the gym and start punching each other. So I was worried about it in that way, and that's what I say when you look about
So you mean
sport like that.
the kids aren't going to be allowed to box properly until they're 18
Oh, that's what I'm
and
saying.
sign it
It's the worry
themselves?
because it's a sport. It's a tough sport at the end of the day, and I get it. And listen, I love boxing. I think it's great sport, and I think it's when done right and it's safe. It's a proper sport. But I just think nowadays it's a worry with these people who are quick to jump on the ball.
It needs to be sanctioned, otherwise you end up king of the streets, don't you?
Yeah,
Eye gouging.
know what I mean?
Right, so, anything you want to promote?
No,
yeah.
all good, all good.
You bothered about any socials? Do you want people's socials followers or not?
No, I don't mind.
So I'll put your socials on the video then. Sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Sweet.
Have to get
Thanks
you
so
back
much
and
for doing it.
start
It's been
talking
brilliant.
about
It's
any
been really
street fights.
Thanks.
Didn't get into your school life or anything. And see what
What was record in school?
yeah.
Right. Nice one. Sound to the Patreon.
Ta-da.
Cheers to that.